Dante, what happened with the judo shit? What happened? Let me get your story on that. That day here where you were going to spar.
What's it, dude?
Alan.
Well, I know Alan's name.
Todd.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, is it Todd or Tom? So we were somewhere talking. I don't know if we're down here, wherever we were talking. And
talking sounds good. Sounds safe.
It's a good. It's a good start point. I didn't just jump up and say, "Put on these pajamas." So we're talking, and me. If you show the tiniest bit of interest in jiu-jitsu, I'm like, "Oh, word."
So I talked about you, I think, on this podcast, where I don't think it's just jiu-jitsu. So I think you are a person that matches whatever energy you receive.
To a degree. Like if
somebody comes in and like wants to have like an in-depth discussion, like you'll meet them right there. If they come in on some like friendly, like polite bullshit, how you doing, how you been, you'll meet them right there. If somebody comes in on some rah-rah shit, you'll meet them right there. Sometimes.
A lot of times it is kind of like it's there, but then I'm also like, you know what? I'm just going to be a dick today. Okay. Not like to be a dick, but it's like, look, this is where I am, and I don't feel like leaving this platform. So if you're like, hey, buddy, I got all this energy, I'm like, I don't. Right? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to either come to my level, or you can keep that energy, and I'm going to go ahead and go over here. But it's fairly accurate for the most part, though. So, Todd, he's talking. I was like, well, look, I'm going to teach you. And I was like, yeah, we can teach you. I was like, all right, hey, I have gear. So it's like, here you go, put this on. And then Laura saw it. I was like, fuck. All right, I gotta get to this before she does. So I go, hey, Bobby, by the way, he was like, no, Laura already talked to me.
No, she hadn't.
She had.
I told you, I was like, Dante, bad idea. This is a bad idea. This sounds like a bad idea. And you were like, no, it's a good idea. And I was like, Dante,
I have a bad feeling about this.
I got a bad feeling about this. Like, it's not going to end well. And you're like, it's no big deal. We're going to go outside. And then Laura came in, and then I see fucking Alan wearing his suit.
Dude, I've never seen anyone get changed that fast.
And then
he was ready.
Like
he was ready, bro.
And then Laura came in the back door because somebody told Laura, "Hey, Dante is going to spar with someone, and it's not gonna work out."
So
who's the snitch?
So Laura,
was Chris.
So
Sarah was like he was freaking out, like you were gonna kill someone. I was like, no.
So Laura came. She was looking for you all over the place, and I have video footage of it because Jaina had the camera. And then you came in, I'm with you in the backyard, and she came in the back fence door, and she was like, and her first words were, "Dante, you good?" and I was like, they want to fight. Bad idea, right? And then you screamed, "It's not fighting, it's sparring." And she was like, "Absolutely not, Dante." And I was like, "There you go, absolutely not." And then I looked over to Alan. I was like, "Go put your kilt back on." And like,
Were you gonna do it in the front yard?
Yeah,
in the corner unit.
I have the video footage. Of it. I'm gonna find it.
Missed a good time.
I'm gonna find it.
No, well, it's like for Alan, I was like, okay, like because he came to our open mat on Monday, and which was a good experience
at your
at my gym.
Okay,
which I guess we had people training for a big tournament upcoming, so they turned the heat on because like folks are still cutting, trying to get a few pounds off. I was like, it was the worst fucking day to have a guest. But that was an experience. It was a fun experience. He choked me. It was fucking weird, getting choked by another dude from a different country.
And now I'll show you a little behind the scenes on some drama with absolutely no context.
Where's Dante? You good, Dante?
Hey, they want to fight.
I think it's a bad move.
It's not a fight. It's friendly.
You agree it's a bad move, right? We're gonna go put your kill back on.
You know what? That's the only time you'll ever hear that.
Come on, go inside. Oh, guys, there's some beef. Gotta get in on this.
That's Jaina. Guys, there's some beef. Gotta get in on this.
It's all friendly.
That whole video is on Patreon for those interested. But yeah. So then you guys got together the next day and sparred.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, as it would have been. Slow rolling, slow movement. Todd would have been slower because he don't know anything.
Right.
So we just like, here, let me show you this. But then, I don't know if someone mentioned, it might have been Sarah, might have been you, I don't know, because I was, had a few beers that day. It was like,
Woman? I've had a few beers today.
so basically,
You remember Brutus used to say that to his mom.
But
when he was like 16, by the way.
whoever pointed out, they're like, yeah, it gets part of the bad idea is like fighting in the backyard where the neighbors can see. It was like, okay, I can see.
Well,
that.
wait, at least we have a fence in the backyard. I was thinking you're going to do it in the front yard in the grass.
Oh no. Well, in my mind, the logic was can't do it in the front yard because neighbors.
Oh, see?
Like-
He was thinking it through, Bobby.
He's talking about the common space.
Yeah.
He's not talking about...
I meant out.
That's arguably more on
Yes,
display.
that is more so.
Well,
That's like
then-
on stage.
Can you imagine people sitting having their dinner like, what the fuck
Are they wearing pajamas?
is going on out there?
It's
Honey,
hot outside.
there's 3 ninjas wrestling.
But it was fun times all the same.
Fair enough. Chris is on assignment this week and probably the rest of the month, I think, from what he said. So we'll see how it shakes out. We're going to try to accommodate him, of course, but no promises. So we have Joe here.
Yo,
and we have Dante here.
What's up?
And Dante, as a guest, how was your nerd week?
Fascinating.
All right.
Go on.
So been playing with my comic books again lately. I don't know. I just got
How do you
weird.
play with comic books?
I don't know. Like open them up. Oh shit, that has dust on it.
Really?
I said, seal this up. I've been like reading like superhero shit again. Like, I don't know why. I just was like, let me go check this out. I'm out. I'm already out. I tried.
Did you pick up something new? Or were you reading something old?
New?
Okay.
New stuff.
What was it?
What is it? There's so the Ultimate Universe for Marvel.
I didn't know
They
that
still
was still-
exist?
Yeah, I didn't know that was still a thing.
I thought they
think
blew
they're
up.
Redoing it?
Yeah, it's something weird because it's like the Ultimate Spider-Man. Basically, the maker went back and prevented whatever it was that made the heroes become heroes, like Spider-Man. He basically took away the
spider.
Somehow, some way, though, the spider ends up in a jar. I think maybe Tony Stark's from that time was like, oh, well, let me go, just in case. We'll send this shit to motherfuckers 35 years later. And the concept seems fine, but it's still, business as usual.
Yeah.
So that, and then they did a crossover event that makes no sense to me, at least, called Blood Hunt.
Okay.
Like vampires or...
Again?
Yeah.
They
I
did-
think
they-
well
they
DC
wasn't- did it-
DC just did that as well.
I like vampires, if you know what I mean.
And then I picked up a book from Image called Stray Dogs and Feral, written by the same team.
Oh,
Basically,
not Bungo Straight Dog. Okay.
Stray Dogs was actually really, really good.
Oh, yeah?
Feral, it's still running, but like Stray Dogs is basically like, from the point of view of the dogs, obviously, this guy, he's picking up.
Obviously.
I don't know. It's called Stray Dogs. I don't
I mean,
figure.
there's a video game called Stray, and you're playing a
It
stray
could be
cat,
about a dog
so-
catcher.
So
Okay, it's about from the point of view of the dogs.
So, it starts off with this, I don't know dog types, but this cute little dog. Funny enough, his name's Sophie. And of course, my daughter, Sophie, wants to fucking read the book. And I'm like, you probably shouldn't read this
Okay.
one. Not yet.
What's the premise?
Basically, this guy, he's collecting stray dogs. And it's like, they're not so stray, like, as they start to, like, it was pointed out, like, the dog's memories, like, they open up by, like, showing the dog getting the shot or whatever. It was like, oh, they don't have great memories, for, like, things like this. So then as the story's going on, you see all these dogs in this house, and they love it. They're having a good time. And then
They love it.
the one dog, the newest one, she I think they threw like whatever fucking bandana or some shit that she had from her old owner, and she smelled it and she started getting memories. It was like, wait a minute, yo, that dude fucking killed my human. And the other dog was like, yo, shut the fuck up, yo.
So the
Like,
dogs are talking to one another?
yeah,
Okay.
like I think they're like going burf, burf.
Perfect.
But
I want like all the thoughts in like a square bubble, but then in the mouth, the speech bubble is arf arf.
I mean, I wish they had a DMX in there.
Yeah.
Going to grrr. But all the dogs are kind of like, shut the fuck up. You're going to run a good thing. This dude's feeding us. We get to go outside and play. Like, everything's fucking great. And then another dog was like, look, I believe you. You don't seem like you're a bullshitter, but like, we'll investigate. So they get into this room. Turns out he's a serial killer. And he has been, snatching up women, then taking their dogs. Fucking weird, because I don't know. If I'm going to kill somebody, I'm not going to take their dog.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just seems kind of rude. Insult to injury, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I guess nice instead of just leaving the dog. I guess.
maybe. I don't know.
I mean, he's taking care of him, right?
Well, he is.
Yeah.
Until
Until
there's a point, though. Because once the dogs start kind of getting into the shit, he gets pissed. And then there's a Dalmatian. And
You know that one. It's the easy one.
yeah, I mean, it's the easiest one, for this next point. Basically, he's like, bad dog, dog fucking up. And then he disappears. The dogs, scurry about. They eventually get to that room that they're not supposed to go into. And basically, he skinned the Dalmatian.
Damn.
Yeah, the shit, that was like, what the fuck am I reading? But I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
some good shit.
But
Yeah, a lot of that more indie stuff is so much more interesting.
Yes, like different, like real stories.
Yeah, and just like the fact that they're self-contained. I always go back to especially like Vertigo in their prime.
yeah,
Like one of the books that I used to love was The Pride of Baghdad. which is
Moms
like-
of a Baghdad.
That's a good song, but it's like inspired by a true story. It's not based on a true story, but during like the bombing of Baghdad.
Oh, see, there we go.
Bombs on Baghdad. They got like this zoo got fucked up, and like the fucking animals got out, like lions and shit, and it like follows this pride of lions that get out of the zoo at Baghdad, and like how they go through the city with like war going on and everything else. Like, it's fucking great, and I don't know if there's a fucking word in it. It's just total, but it's fucking captivating,
I love it. I mean, I like that. My beef with American comics is not those. It's always like the superhero comic.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
not. I don't need things to. I don't need things to be short. When I say I need things to end, it can be long. It can be 10 seasons long, whatever, a TV show or book. It can go run for 10 years, 20 years, but it's got to end at some point. Like it's got to be telling a story with a purpose.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So I think
Not meandering.
right. So I think that like I think the way that I view it all now is like I just view arcs as independent things, and I'm not really looking for this ongoing saga of it. I'm just
Even
looking for.
they're pretending it is.
I'm just
But you're not going to look at it that way.
Correct. I'm just looking for a good arc that I can isolate in my mind as a good tale of these characters. But I haven't read a good comic book of superheroes in quite a long time.
I mean, like what Dante said, he picked it up and played with it.
played with it.
and that's kind of the whole thing with trades, though. You get six stories and it's isolated.
Isolated.
There. You can stop there if you want,
Yeah.
or you can keep going.
And let me say, let me just put a caveat. I haven't read an ongoing arc. I've read some like one-off Batman and Joker and stuff like that. That's been pretty good, but I haven't read like a part of an ongoing story arc like that used to like Dark, like Blackest Night is like part of the ongoing, but it's a great story isolated,
Yeah, like I feel like most comics, especially these days, or really in the last 15 15 years or so are that way, though. It's like they're just like, look, we're making a story, we do have a point, but also too there's that mid ground where it's like, we got to fill time, like how old TV shows used to be 24 episodes, 25 episodes for one season, and at around episode 15 through 18 is just some bullshit filler. And it's like, you could have cut those 3 episodes and kept it running, like with Breaking Bad that last season, because they didn't have the funding that they needed. They had to force all that content into 5 or 8 episodes. So there was no bullshit. It was like go, versus you look at earlier seasons. There's an episode where we're just going to sit here and watch them chase a fly in the fucking lab.
Right.
For an hour.
Right.
Fuck out of here. So yeah, fucking around with the comic books. Lots of horror stuff.
I've seen a lot of like horror. I don't know whether they're coming out, they just came out, or they announced it, but I see a lot of them on my feed. I'm just like, this all look interesting, but it seems like a lot.
Yeah.
A24 is doing a lot.
A24, it's. I always say I don't like A24, but it was just there was one movie I didn't like from A24. I actually enjoy A24.
Yeah, they seem to have a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, but one movie I was just like, I mean, I get it, but I don't care. But every time I see somebody talk, I was like, oh my God, it was fucking great. It's like, it's kind of boring. Like, like at the end, it just did a thing. And I moved on. But lots of horror still working on the podcast. I just did an episode with Sophie and Sarah talking about.
She talks so much. She can talk so much now.
Dude, like I was on the treadmill.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I was on the treadmill a couple of days ago, and she comes downstairs. She wanted to tell me something. I don't know what the fuck it was, but I said, go ahead and talk. And I checked out and came back. She was still going. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like I was watching The Sopranos while I was on the treadmill. So I was like finish up. I'm in the middle of an episode. And like, this is getting good. But we did an episode basically talking about age appropriate or kid friendly horror, like kind of introducing your kids to horror, because she's been into horror stuff, obviously being in that home, but nothing like how I was introduced. Like I was just watching fucking Friday the 13th.
Same here.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
I think that was just our generation.
Didn't exist when we were kids.
Yeah, my dad was protective, but my mom, it was a fucking free for all. And I was there on the weekends, and I would binge it. I would be like, through Fridays, through Child's Play, Freddy, all that shit. Like
my parents just weren't around. Whatever.
I mean, my mom put it on while I'm just like,
sit down and watch this. Leave me alone.
And my mom was passed out.
Yep.
I remember watching The Howling on a Saturday afternoon.
Is that where the wolf head came through the mountain?
Yeah,
that fucked me up as a kid. I was like, what the fuck?
I watched that on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon. We're at my uncle's house. And we're like, I'm sitting in, I guess, like the den area. It's all wooded floors and it's kind of slanted. I was scared as shit. And the bathroom didn't have a light. So I pissed right there, and it trickled all the way back to where they were sitting playing spades.
Oh, no.
And yeah, didn't end well for me. Yeah. But you know what? Not my fault.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't say
you're a kid.
I didn't say like a little kid watch a fucking werewolf movie.
So I'll tell you, like Jaina has expressed interest in horror stuff, and I showed her The Others.
Yeah. That's good.
Because it's a good horror movie. It's not over the top.
Sixth Sense-ish.
It's Sixth Sense-ish.
Yeah.
Which is another one I showed her. And she enjoyed both, and she got to feel the thrill of the scare and being freaked out, but still feeling comfortable. And then she saw The Exorcist.
wait, which one? The original?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I've said this before on here, but it's worth repeating. Like to me, it was almost like a case study for me. Like, does this movie still scare this current generation with all they get exposed to and everything else? And does this movie scare a generation of kids, at least in my home, that are not growing up religious in at all? Not anti-religious, just not religious,
neutral.
Correct. And there's been plenty of conversations at my house where, like, they do you believe in God? And like, I will say, like, I believe in something more than us, like I believe in a higher thing,
ancient aliens,
but like
it's something.
But I'm not the guy beating my drum at home saying like there is no God, there is no, like I'm not that at all. So like, But it's just interesting that it scared the piss out of her. Like she wasn't right, like without the religious background and being a product of this generation. That Exorcist is a slow burn.
Yeah,
like you gotta commit, until it gets real.
I do think with a lot of so there's a period, I want to say 2010 to like maybe 2019, where it felt like folks watching movies, they needed constant like action, go.
Well, that was a Marvel genre.
And then about maybe 2018, we'll say, the slow burn came back, and more younger folks started getting into the slow burn and appreciating the slow burn. For her with The Exorcist, though, because I remember you all came over, we did the episode, which good time. Like I went back and listened. It was like, okay, this was good. This was good. For her, did she have any like prior knowledge or anything going into it?
No.
Because I think that's what hurts a lot of folks too with older movies. Because when Rob Zombie's Halloween came out in 2007, which I fucking enjoyed it.
Yeah, I
loved it. They play the original for, the kids, whatever their fucking ages were, that watched the newer one. And they're like, the original one, this wasn't scary, da-da-da. And it's like, well, first off, you've already had all this information about it going in, number one. Number two, you have to think about the time that it came out, with what was going on in the world and why that's scary. Number three, we know Michael Myers as being an unkillable machine, but when you're watching the original one, you don't know this until the end when, Dr. Loomis was like, I shot him 6 times. And, the motherfucker just wandered off.
Right.
So I do think that fucks with a lot of folks watching, the older movies when they have prior knowledge. But if you don't have that knowledge, now you're open to the genuine scare of it. I had a guest on the podcast who has her own horror podcast. Like, I love her TikTok videos on horror, and her podcast is great. And I told her about that experience, and she was like, I love that. She saw it and it still scared her, because that kind of speaks to, how great of a film it is.
100%. And that there's something, in my opinion, there's something primal about that shit.
Oh yeah.
There's something that it's like something in the water. Like they captured something that's just horrifying. And I think there's a number of components into it. I think the fact that it's a girl, I think that's a big part of it. Yeah. I think you put that same movie and it's a young boy, it's not as scary.
No. I mean, in the original story,
it's a young boy.
It's a young boy from Maryland. He actually died in 2018.
Oh, really?
But the thing with it too is like, the outside stuff to it. Like they released it on December 26th.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know.
Kind of fucked up movie to release it. He wanted to release it on
Christmas. I do remember that now.
He was like, fuck him. The thing is, I don't think that was even in his thought. I think initially he wanted to do spring. The studio was like, well, no, because if we wait to spring, we're going to miss our shot. He was like, okay, let's do Christmas. They're like, oh, relax. You fucking settle down. Yeah. And then they were like, okay, they compromised on the 26th. And it's still kind of fucked.
Jaina didn't sleep that night. She was thinking about it for weeks afterwards. I have a statue of Reagan in my office. She didn't even look at it.
I wouldn't either. But I mean,
it's just Ronald. 1 scale.
Oh my god!
With a cowboy hat on.
That makes it better. I have that Madame Tussauds probably.
Like, The Sixth Sense and the others is good shows, to expose kids to. And then, that's kind of what we go through in that episode as we talk about the ages. We talk about like ages 3 through 6. And people think like, you're going to introduce kids to horror now, at that age. It's like, well, it's not horror necessarily on the big show. It's a story called Room on a Broom. It's about a witch and a dragon. Simple. Sesame Street, Halloween. Right. Shit like that. And then, we kind of go through the age steps. And then I think we got to like 13 through 16 was like Sixth Sense, things like that. And 13 through 15, and then like 16 and up, they started like listing all this wild shit. I was like, I don't know if that's okay. They're talking about like American Horror Story. I was like, maybe not, because like season 1, dude's jerking off in the window.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Relax.
I mean, at 13, I was jerking off in the window.
They have
so was I.
Yeah.
But Bobby was jerking off in the balcony. But shining a flashlight on it.
In my mind, they wouldn't have been able to resist. Once they feasted their eyes. Keep your eyes on the prize.
So 13 is not too young for American Horror Story, probably.
I mean,
just because of
so it depends. It depends.
Yeah,
It's all kid related. Like my kid has no concept of it.
like Sophie, she is aware of zombies. She loves zombies. We told her last year, hey, when you turn 8, she was asking when can I watch like a zombie movie. I was like, look, when you turn 8, you can watch Night of the Living Dead. And on her 8th birthday, she wakes up the morning, can you watch Night of the Living Dead? I was like, girl, if you don't get the fuck out of this room, go to fucking bed. Like, leave me alone. We'll get the presents soon. So we did watch that July 4th, last Thursday. So we watched it last Thursday, and we told her like the only thing is like when you sit and watch like these horror movies.
Is it at least an independent film? I'm trying to find the theme for
July 4th.
Actually, it was.
Oh, perfect.
But like we watched that, and then prior to that, we watched War of the Worlds, because another concept too.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah,
Okay.
is like watch movies that aren't necessarily horror movies, but they have horror elements and intense moments, and she loved that. And she actually talked about it a little bit on the podcast, basically saying like, you know, what was like some of the parts that you enjoyed, what were some of the creepier parts, and she was like, when the aliens started, you know, snatching the people up.
I never watched that. I know of it because I listened to it.
Yeah.
I listened to the
Radio, the Orson Welles one.
Yeah, because like when I worked in the art gallery, we played a lot of books on tape, and that was one of them as well.
Yeah.
So like after that, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get experience watching this movie.
What art gallery did you work in?
It was independent.
Where was it?
Miller's is in Kensington, Maryland. It's a little town.
Huh.
Like between Chevy Chase, and
Montgomery
Wheaton
County.
and Silver Spring.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, it still kind of holds up. You think about the time that it came out. I think it was like 2003, so we're post 9/11. So there was a lot of that over patriotism going on with like the son in the movie. Like as the shit's going down, and the military drives by, and he's like, "We got to go fight them. We got to defend our." It's like, okay, shut the fuck up. Like you don't have any training. Like these motherfuckers got like weapons and grenades, and you're running out there in jeans and a jacket talking about like,
America,
let me fight. I want to fight. Yeah, and you know, I felt like that was super heavy handed. And at the time, it, you know, seemed like, okay, we're all in that patriotism mode after 9/11. But you watch that shit 20 years later, and you're like, okay.
Man, I was in New York in October of 2011 or 2001, and it was weird, man. Like
after
yeah, like it was the nicest I've ever felt, like the city. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not like a big, I know the reputation of New York, or like, fuck you, watch where I'm walking here, you know, like all that kind of shit, which I do enjoy, because I think it's just so raw humanity, you know. But like people like going out of their way to open doors, you know, hold the door open longer for you. It was just a weird. I'm not sure if I liked it.
You don't have to worry about it. It's over.
Yeah, it's over. It's over.
It
Thank
feels
God.
like uneasy at times. Like I think
it's because it almost felt like a constant reminder. You know,
But something's different.
yeah, it's like, let's get back to normal. You know, fuck you. You know, remember that I was just like, kiss my ass, that guy, and I shouldn't have. I tell you the story.
I don't.
So I'm walking down. I forget what fuck. We were somewhere in Manhattan. I got my family with me in middle of December, so it's fucking cold, right? It's like 2021, I think. So COVID is here, it's not here. It's, you know what I mean? We're in that kind of era. And my kids are all wearing masks. They have to have masks because we're going into places that some require them, some don't. Some restaurants require your fucking vaccination card, some don't. Like, it's, you know what I mean? That's a fucking real time in this country. And we're walking down the street. It's like 9 o'clock at night. It's fucking cold, you know, middle of December. My kids got their mask on outside because they're fucking cold, and they're wearing it for warmth on their face. And this guy walks past and he's like, "Oh, you got your fucking kids wearing masks, fucking sheep, Bob." You know, and like I'm not even that type of dude, you know? Like I've always been hit or miss on the mask shit, you know? And but I was just offended that he had felt the need to say something about it.
Yeah.
You know?
To you for no to your family for no reason.
I turned around and I was like, "Fuck you." And he was like, "Fuck you." And then I was like, I had been wanting to try to bring Kiss My Ass back. Like I've been wanting to try it. You know, like, and I was like, "Kiss my ass." And then as soon as I said it, I was like, "Oh, that ain't it." And he's like, "Kiss my ass." And I was like, "Yeah."
It's like, I wasn't prepared for the comeback.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that episode. It was a fun episode. Then, what the fuck was I about to say?
What's a Tales from the Crypt cartoon? I remember that. It was a Saturday morning cartoon,
yeah.
Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, we talked about little cartoons like that.
Goosebump.
Goosebump.
After school.
Went to-
That's
that's a
horror.
great-
Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yep.
Stuff like that. And Sophie watches, you know, those things too.
Because I think there's Goosebump now. There's
Yeah, there's a newer one that just came out this year or last.
Oh,
With,
yeah,
Justin Long, I think.
Yeah, I think Sarah, she looked into it. She was like, it might be a little much for her right now. I was like, well, we'll see. But she enjoyed Night of the Living Dead. She did kind of then say, you know, there's a creepy part that she didn't really like. And it was like the little girl
I don't even
the
know if I've
basement.
ever seen that movie, but if I did, it's when I was a fucking elementary school or some shit.
It's a long time.
It is one of those movies where we probably all saw it as kids, and it's also one of those movies where it's like, do we need to go back and revisit it? Probably not. We got the message, like zombies. Like,
I gotta watch more movies with my kids. You know, because I do enjoy that. Like you know, Jane has seen like Bram Stoker's Dracula, which she quite enjoyed. She loved like the Hannibal trilogy.
Yeah.
like
Hannibal was great.
Yeah,
the TV show is really good too.
I tried
With,
it.
Mads Mikkelsen?
I tried it. I had a hard time with it. I didn't think it was
liked
bad.
it a
I just
lot.
had a hard time getting into it.
That was actually
I
one of the-
hated Hannibal Rising.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Hannibal Rising.
It was like a prequel to Red Dragon. It was like Hannibal as a young person.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh God, dude!
Don't
bother.
It was my biggest issue with it is they made him a victim. You know, and now all of this is a result of his victim.
Unnecessary.
But
Yeah,
you-
yeah.
He can,
It makes him less interesting.
He's just he was just born different.
Yeah.
he's
I mean,
just
you
a
can
monster.
kinda
That's what makes him interesting.
like you saw it kind of coming out with Hannibal, because Hannibal, I loved Hannibal. It was a great movie, but you kind of got the feelings like, okay, you know, we flipped him now from being the bad guy to like
The hero. He's the hero in that movie.
So then once you come with Hannibal Rising, you already
Was he
knew.
the hero though? I don't know. I always felt he.
to me,
I don't think he was. I
no,
don't.
he wasn't a good guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, but he was on the good side. Like the
I thought they just he just happened to line up with their agenda at the time, and that's why he was a good guy.
Yeah.
but it
Oh,
wasn't.
no, yeah.
I always felt like he has his own code. He does things
100%.
Yeah.
for that
100%.
he thinks is right.
Yeah, no, I think it's circumstantial that he ended up being
Yeah.
a good guy, but he was more of the good guy
Yes.
in Hannibal than the bad guy.
Right.
You know, and like he, you know, that one clip of that movie I always quote, like when my wife is like, you know, would you like some wine? and the Gary Oldman when he offered him drugs or whatever, and he was
would you like a popper?
He's like, would you like a popper? I said, oh, boy, would I? It's so good, dude. Yeah, that movie. I mean, those movies are fucked. You know, and Red Dragon doesn't get the
Red
props
Dragon's
it
great.
deserves, but it's great.
Dragon's great.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot in that movie that just, it's like if you're watching that with no context, you're like, yo, what the fuck am I watching right now? Like, I don't even get it.
but Jaina got obsessed with him. Like, I think she asked because she doesn't really ask for much. You know, like I think she asked for Christmas last year hardcover like first editions of those books. Like that's how much she enjoyed and then she's been reading them. You know, like she loves that character.
Tell her to watch the show or try the show.
Yeah, and I also I want to watch 28 Days and all that shit with them.
Oh, there's gonna be
28
28. There's gonna be a new one.
Yeah,
Finally,
28
we've been
years.
talking about it for
28
years.
years. Oh,
We've been talking
great.
about it for 28 years.
Yeah,
Well, like I just had a guest on the podcast on Off the Mats, and he was talking about that. I was like, dude, if you want to, I haven't done an episode. Let's sit down and
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
So, because we were talking about the same thing, our kids watching. So it was like, yeah, his son, I think is 11. He was like, yeah, we watched that. I was like, all right, let's do an episode.
and I love. I don't know if it's horror or not. because I'm not sure. Like horror is a weird genre for
It
me.
is.
Because,
There's a lot of things that could be horror.
correct.
You know,
because
We're
some
about
of
to do
it.
an episode on that.
I mean, Wizard of
Yeah.
Oz could be a horror.
Some of it.
How you look
yeah,
at it.
yeah. Some of it I love. Some of it I love because it scares me.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it I love and it doesn't scare me at all. You know, like it's such a weird genre for me. But I forget where we were going. What movie were we just talking about?
28 days later.
Oh, yeah, 30 Days Night.
Yeah, 30
Oh
days
yeah.
later.
Oh, that's great.
Like I love it.
That was a sequel too.
Yeah, and I like that one too. You know, like
That's great.
Yeah,
That's a good vampire movie.
yeah, and I think it's a Vertigo book.
Yeah, it's vertical.
That's good art. I like.
Yeah,
very
bold,
dramatic.
Very dramatic. Oh,
Yeah.
good stuff. Good comics.
We have
There's another. There's not to cut you off, Dante. There's another comic about vampires from Vertigo, Bite Club. I think it's called Bite Club. But it's
heard
fucking
of it.
great.
I've not read, but I've heard of it.
I'm pretty sure I have it.
And then with Off the Mats, I've been talking about doing this for a while, even before the podcast actually started. Was like basically going to gyms and training, and then kind of doing like a Anthony Bourdain type thing with jiu-jitsu. I'm pretty sure people are doing it already on fucking YouTube, but whatever, fuck them. Mine is better. I got a bigger following. So,
You should try to. You know how they always mix stuff. You know how there's like boxing inside of a telephone booth, or like BJJ inside of a car
jiu-jitsu.
You should try to do a podcast while you're rolling. Try to talk about stuff with the person you're rolling with. You're trying to choke each other out, but you're trying to talk about horror, whatever the fuck. You're trying to talk about a topic and see how that goes.
Maybe. Well, then
That'd be
I'm
interesting.
toying with ideas with like teammates and stuff, because what we're gonna do is the 4-year anniversary episode. It's coming up, and my teammate who does that with me every year, I talked to him. I was like, "Look, let's go out to Virginia. There's a gym that I've gone to in Virginia to one of their open mats." I was like, "Let's go roll with them. You know, train for the afternoon, and then sit down with them and do an episode of the podcast." And it was like, all right, cool, let's do it. And then there's another one close to DC. I wanted to do that with them. And then we got a bunch of gyms.
I mean, that's
like,
all of them.
In our area. There's like 8 gyms within like a 10-mile radius.
It's pretty popular.
So we're going to start doing that. I'm not sure the frequency yet, just because it's a lot with packing up all the shit, and then also sorting
Logistics,
out.
right? You gotta get permission, get the right people to do it, and then
And then I can't remember whose kids, but you had me repost something. Their gym is around the corner from me.
Oh yeah, my buddy Mac. Yeah, they just went to Brazil.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
They're nearby, and someone from their gym reached out to me and was like, you should have the coach on. And then actually one of his black belts who lives in Mississippi, I just had on a couple months back.
Oh really?
And he was saying the same. He was like, dude, you got to get Vicente on. I was like, okay. Like, I will. It's just, I'm weird about asking people to be on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, especially if they're a black belt, because it's like I always joke. I was like, look, y'all go on these other podcasts and they're like real interviewers and shit. I don't interview. I just say, hey, you do jiu-jitsu. You like it? Tell me about it. And then it was like, yeah, that's cool. So, hey, I got some action figures. You want to talk about I can pose this one in a triangle.
good articulation.
Yeah. But, and then I've been taking edibles and listening to Billy Ocean.
Nice.
That was the last kick to it.
Perfect.
It seems like it would be a good idea until you get past the third song. And it's like, oh shit, I don't know any other songs. So I don't recommend at all. I mean, I like his music, those 3 songs. But after that, it's kind of like, okay, he kept going into the 2000s. He should
Really?
not.
I did
He
not know
should have
that.
stopped. Like, like the 2010s. I was like,
And people keep going.
and it could have been the weed talking. I don't know.
Yeah.
But please don't. That's all I got.
Tell me, just since you're here, tell me what recently you watched that's good on what's coming. Okay, on my feed I see something called Long Legs. I see something with Hugh Grant in it where he traps some missionaries.
Heretic.
Okay,
Looks good.
there. Nicolas Cage is in something that's
So he is in Long Legs.
okay. Is it out?
It's out today.
Oh, okay.
As of today. Sarah's gonna go see it, then I'm gonna go see it, she's going with one of her old coworkers.
It's supposed to be good.
So I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about it, but every time I hear a lot of good stuff, I go in with the highest expectation.
Oh yeah, no,
and
don't do
fucks
that.
me up. So
especially with horror, it's just
hearing
a
about
fucking mixed bag.
the one thing they were talking about, the lead actress, she hadn't seen Nicolas Cage in his makeup as Longlegs, so they had the heart rate monitor tracking, and it went up. Her heart rate went up to 170.
Nice.
So that was the first time, like, her seeing it, and just going into the role.
And are there any pictures of him out there as the monster?
Because
Which I like. I'm good. I don't want to see
that,
it. I don't want to see
They
it.
had him blacked out. Like, you could see that he's sitting there, and they had the black bar over his head. And I was like, okay. I like that they did that. Sarah didn't even like that she knew that he was in the movie. 'Cause when we watched the trailer, she saw his name. She got pissed. She was like, he's fucking Longlegs. I know he is. I was like, well, yeah.
It doesn't have to be. No,
Well, I think they kind of made
I'm long
it
leg,
my third leg.
daddy long leg.
But I feel like they made it, I don't want to say clear, but it kind of hinted.
Because like you're talking about earlier, like when you're pre-exposed to stuff like Halloween or whatever, you're not as scared of stuff. So like, especially with horror movie, I want to go in knowing nothing. The fear of the unknown is much more powerful.
I think I need to have a concept.
Yeah, a concept. Just
a concept.
Well, like, when I heard Longlegs, I was thinking like a spider movie.
Right.
Yeah. Well, like, they've been doing like little like hints since, I want to say, December. Like, little things have been leaking little by little, and it is very subtle. It's stuff that didn't make any sense. For the longest time, they're just putting out little pictures with no context. You didn't even know it was for Longlegs. It was just like, what the fuck is this? And then as it got closer and closer, and then there's a 800 number you can call.
I like that.
Fucking
kind of
super creepy. But Longlegs, Heretic,
that's supposed to be good.
those, yeah, I definitely.
That's something Bobby would do. Except like he would talk to them. So I think this guy's like this door-to-door missionary kind of like Jehovah's Witness kind of thing, right? And he invites them in. I think he traps them. I think that's the concept.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you would do that, but you talk to them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're not going anywhere. We're talking
Yeah,
now.
as long as sit down here, boy.
It's going on Patreon.
As long as we're gonna be honest. As long as we're gonna be honest. That's my thing. We gotta be honest.
On Shudder, Baghead was pretty good.
Okay.
Oh man, see before the bagheads. We're the Samoans, and you gotta put us on. We're the Samoans, and you gotta put us on. Dude, what a great fucking movie. Why haven't I watched that recently?
I think it came up recently at home.
Why would it ever come up?
Dude, like that.
Because Juneteenth was like, black y'all, I'm blacking you, black y'all.
Right.
So,
Dude, that part where like they're like in that drive-by shooting, and they got Sam Elliott in the car. He's like a journalist from Rolling Stone, and they're coming down the street and they're getting off on an exit. And Gusto is like, oh, they'd be crazy to follow me down here. And Sam is like, is it because it's your hood? And he's like, worse. And as he gets on the exit, like the camera backs out, and it's like the freeway at rush hour. It's just like awful traffic. And they're like, yeah, fuck that bitch, Froggy style. What a fucking film, you know?
Doesn't get the love that it deserves.
It doesn't. That sweat from my balls, that shit is a bop.
Baghead and I can't. We just watched it the other night. It's like PYE something. It's on fucking Shudder. If you put in PYE, it comes up. We watched those recently. Both really good. Didn't expect them to be good. It was kind of like.
There's one more. There was one with Bautista where he's actually a really good actor. Yeah. Every time I see him, I'm like, I don't know why I'm still surprised that he's a good actor, but I am every time I see him. Like, you're fucking great.
I mean, he takes it serious.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just thinking about him today because we had a conversation on Nerd Rage once about the best wrestler turned actor.
Yeah, it's him.
It's
100%.
It's hands down him.
Like, just skill wise alone.
Yeah, it's hands down him.
Like, but he was like,
and I don't think Chris wanted to admit it. I think Chris.
What did he want? What?
I think
it's not John Cena. It's not The Rock.
But I think so for Chris, right? So for me, it would be like if Drake was the best actor. You know, it's like, God, I don't want to say that.
Oh,
you know, because from this other world that I know all these characters from, I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Oh,
So I don't
Bautista was
want-
not a good wrestler.
So,
Is that the thing?
well, I don't good and bad. I don't know, but like I think that Chris was a fan of The Rock and Cena characters more, and not a fan of Bautista's character.
I mean, The Rock's fame is undeniable. I mean, even though he's having a down,
yeah, I would
downturn,
say he's one of the most
finally
famous.
having.
I would say he's one of the most famous people on the planet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, he's always seen as a good guy, but now like his image is turning.
Yeah, you're hearing things behind the scenes talk about
A lot of
like,
bad things.
He
A lot of
can't
bad things.
like lose a fight. He can't be seen losing a
He,
fight.
he
And
lies
And-
he lies a lot. He lies all the time.
Yeah, even in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, like not just on the wrestling mat.
No, in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's the thing
it was part of the issue with
Vin Diesel and
Black Adam.
Black Adam.
Yep, that too. I mean, well, that was part of the thing on the Fast and Furious as well with Vin Diesel, because I think they both have a similar clause. It's like, well, one of y'all motherfuckers got to lose.
Well, and then whenever it's been a while, but whenever we talk about Vin Diesel, obviously, and we talk about The Rock, that leads us to Fast and the Furious, and then there was other issues in Fast and the Furious. A lot of them had to do with The Rock, and The Rock wanted to take the movie in a separate thing, and it kind of broke up the quote unquote family.
I'm not doing anything illegal, but I don't want.
I ain't doing anything illegal either. I just came to make some trash.
She's a radical fun check.
Here we go.
What more do you want from me? What more do you want from
That shit is so good.
There's some movie that Tyrese is going to be in. I think it's called 1992, and it's like surrounding the events of the LA riots and Rodney King and all that.
I think Snoop is involved in that in some regard, like in the production of it, not necessarily on the acting front.
That sucks. For Snoop, 'cause I looked at the trailer and for a second I didn't realize it was Tyrese. And
they're like, we're gonna burn down the city. You in? He's like, chia. Bow wow.
Like, it is like trying to see him, and like it's like a super serious role, and it's basically him as a one-man army taking down, Ray Liotta and a bunch of other gangsters. It was like, okay.
Ray Liotta.
Didn't you see him in that?
Yeah. It was like, isn't he dead? But there he is.
I mean,
because I had to look it up. I was like,
Prophet of the Faceless, man. They can CG anyone's face on anybody.
crazy.
I was like, that dude's dead. I'm pretty sure.
You didn't see Snoop Dogg fight vampires with Jamie Foxx?
I mean, yeah.
They bite. They walk. Something like that. Jamie Foxx.
Jimmy Walker Scott.
Jamie Foxx is like a vampire hunter, and then Snoop Dogg came to back him up.
Oh God!
I mean, and that works though. That works because
it was a fun movie.
Yeah, because that's what it was. It was fun. It wasn't.
You remember that, right?
Yeah.
He was there. Yeah.
Anyway, Joey.
I don't remember what that was called. That Bautista movie where he like traps a family, saying this is the end of days, and one of y'all got to die.
I want to watch
Knock
that.
at the Cabin.
Yeah.
Is that good?
It's solid.
It's solid. It looks so. The trailer got me.
Yeah, the trailer looks great.
It's M. Night Shyamalan movie, and you're always expecting a twist. Which I don't know that there was necessarily a twist per se.
That's okay because some of his twists have become trash.
But it was fine. Like I enjoyed it. I think I watched it a couple times just to kind of because I watched the first time just to watch, and then the second time I was like, let me make sure I like this. And then M. Night Shyamalan does have a movie coming out called Trap. Which
looks about a trans girl that's really attractive.
Maybe I don't know.
That's what my Reddit thread says it means. I mean, somebody else's Reddit thread.
It's basically like Josh Hartnett. What the fuck was he ever in? Pearl Harbor. And then he just disappeared from acting and just started coming back doing like Black Mirror and now this.
Oh yeah.
But he's at a concert with his daughter. And he goes to one of the concession guys because you see SWAT and everything like surround the spot. And he goes, I was like, yo, what the fuck's going on out there? Like, what's with all this? And the guy's like, look, I ain't supposed to tell nobody, but yeah, it's a trap. they trying to catch whatever the name of the
bad guy.
The killer
there's a bad guy in the
show
venue, and then they trap. Okay,
yeah.
He just holds up an Admiral Akbar figure.
He's like, I'm not supposed to say nothing. I bet you'll look at him like, I get you. But
I remember one time Mario got a Frappuccino at Starbucks one time, and I was like, "What is that?" And he was like, "It's a Frap."
But yeah, that's coming up in August. Another I guess horror kind of like you say, horror is weird because like there are things
it can be psychological horror, which is more like it can be drama, but it's also psychological horror at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah. So
and it can also be just slasher. It can be
well, and that's what I think most people think of as horror because
Yes.
when I have these conversations with people, folks are like Silence of the Lambs, like it gets listed as a thriller.
Yeah.
It won the Big Five the year at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Like all of it. And they're like, well, you can't say it was a horror film. It was
Right.
very much a fucking horror film.
Yeah, so I think it's almost like punk is rock.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like horror is rock and roll. And then, psychological thriller is punk and slasher is hip hop and whatever, but it's all under the rock and roll banner. I think. Anyway.
Yeah, it's actually a very diverse.
Yeah,
genre.
but it's
it
finding.
it can be so many things.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't have a solid meaning, I guess.
Yeah, and that's 2 weeks in a row you've been racist to me, Joe. But
With my Italian hands, only directed at you, looking at you, Italian hands at you. I can't do that with Dante.
But that's that thing about like, because some of those genres are like some of my favorite movie genres of all time. Like a psychological thriller might be my number one favorite movie genre, but I typically, with few exceptions, like I hate like a jump scare movie. I hate a slasher movie. I hate, you know what I mean? Like, so it's so
You don't like
so
Polish slasher?
well, the mediocre ones are kind of my bag.
like I always argue for Seven.
Oh my God.
Seven's definitely horror.
It's
but
like it's a psychological thriller.
And people are like, well, no, it's not a horror. It's
Are you
like,
not scared?
Like,
This
so
is not-
you mean to
does
tell me
not scare you?
somebody committing murders based on the 7 deadly sins is not
And it's
terrifying?
it's like horrifying deaths.
And they're patient and it tracks over a year and they don't know who it is. Yeah, that's terrifying.
When someone is insane,
Yeah.
as you clearly are, do you know that you're insane? You're just sitting around reading Guns and Ammo, masturbating in your own feces. Do you ever stop and just say, wow, it is amazing how fucking crazy I really am?
Actually, and what's funny about that is like I remember when that came out, I remember hearing you like quote that.
Yeah.
And I had no other context to the movie, so it hits VHS because we that old. And I go home, I watch, I know nothing but that quote.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where the fuck was that quote? I keep fucking hearing it. Where the fuck is that quote? Oh, meanwhile, there's like this fucking movie is really good. And then you get to the big ending, spoiler alert, it's fucking head in the box.
What's in the box?
So I bought the fucking Gwyneth Paltrow Marvel Legend just because it came without the mask, just to have her head for a box.
That's awesome.
And Sarah hates it.
So I've had that movie on VHS as a bootleg.
Oh my God.
When the film came out, and it was like a proper bootleg, like
someone holding a video
someone holding a
theater.
camcorder in the theater, and so that was my first experience watching it, and it was fucking magical.
Yeah, it's actually more fucked up watching it that way.
Yeah, because it's all gritty and grimy, and like I still enjoy it now. Don't get me wrong, but how polished it is now is actually a turn off to me. Even hearing that 9 Inch Nails record over the beginning of it, like with the opening credits, where they're like going through his. I gotta bring it up. But they're going through like his like
manifesto.
Yeah, his books, his like composition books and shit.
There's so many of them.
And there's so many, and they're
like
so
rooms
detailed. They're threaded, like the edges of the pages are like threaded.
The props guy who did that.
Oh my God.
No shit.
Yeah.
Like whoever, they're like, okay, so we're going to hire you for a job. And what's that? Just writing these fucking composition books for days. Like weeks.
It's perfect. And it has that like You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I gotta hear it. And it's actually a closer remix.
Oh,
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah.
It's like you like once it get like kind of later in it, you hear him say closer to guys like,
Yeah.
oh, shit.
Yeah.
You don't realize until
This is what that is.
And you can hear it there.
Yes, there it is.
Blum, 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 blum. But I just gotta hear that. It's coming soon.
That's what I said. I did not come soon.
Trust me. Pay attention.
She did. Now she has a glass eye.
God, it's so
Especially
fucking
with,
great.
with his headphones.
Yeah, it's so good. Anyway, sorry.
All right.
Joey.
I didn't do shit. What did I do? I watched Alone season 10, which I still love. I love that series. I'm glad they're making more. This time they were in Saskatchewan.
I believe that's a Bigfoot.
There was no Bigfoot up there. They fucking wish. It's like a bunch of like everyone gets their own island this time. This is a show where people get dropped off with 2 suitcases full of camera equipment, and they're forced to like film themselves. Well, not forced, but that's part of the agreement. You have to lug these things
Sounds
around,
forced.
and you have to film yourself 24/7 basically while you're by yourself in like this time it's on an island in Saskatchewan. And
I believe it's also a Chinese chicken. Like,
you're right. You're right. I would know. McDonald had a sauce for that. I don't want to ever hear you say anything about my Italian hands again. But like they're like around fall or some shit, and the temperature is it's fine. But they have to stay there as long as possible, and it gets to like a negative 30 degrees, and they're by themselves.
Wait, and that's up in
This
Canada.
time is yeah. But they've been in Alaska before, they've been in Mongolia before, but everyone's by themselves. And like you tap out when you want, they have a satellite phone. And like I'm fucking done, and they come pick you up, and like if weather permits, sometimes they can't right away. Whoever stays there the longest wins. You don't know when you win because like you don't know when anyone else taps out. You're completely by yourself, and you have to you get 9 arrows and some other stuff. No lighters or nothing. I think you can pick like a small selection of items to take with you, and then you just have to like. You see these people like have like this fold out little saw, and they would make whole log cabins, and then just stay there, and then try to hunt and trap stuff and fish until the lake or the water freezes over.
Jesus.
You know, take
Like
a little,
you watch these people like lose
too far.
like 50 pounds over the course of the show trying to win $500,000.
Damn.
But also like the skill of it. Like if I get dropped alone in Saskatchewan, I'm not lasting that long.
I kind of got the chicken part already. You're like, don't worry, guys.
I got this. Let me bust my walk.
I was
They
made
were
for
watching
this.
the videos like, where the fuck did that come from?
I got a buddy of mine who always has what is that chicken I'm talking about?
Szechuan chicken?
Szechuan chicken. Hey, he always has Szechuan chicken on Friday. It's his favorite food on the planet.
Wow, really?
And on Friday nights, like I have pizza on Friday nights if I can. Like his Friday night when I see him.
Is he Asian?
So no, he's not. He's actually.
Okay, I didn't think so.
He's actually. I love him, but he's this little goblin of a dude. And I call him Tall Paul. He's like 4'3", and his name is Paul, so he's Tall Paul, but he's 4'3". And every time I see him on a Friday, I'm like, "What's for dinner tonight, Tall Paul?" Szechuan chicken. I just
Have you tried whatever the fuck he's eating?
no.
You should.
Yeah, maybe, but like he also, this is like he's the dude. Do you remember me telling the story about when Laura had a kid and I faked being asleep while this guy came in to have a conversation? Mm-hmm. He's the dude.
But yeah, I love the show. It's 10 seasons worth of it. Chris Maul actually gave me a gifted me very nice gifted me a.
He's a very generous, very
crafting
generous,
book because he heard I like that show, which has a lot of information on like how to fucking start a fire if you dropped off alone on an island. But I mean, it's just impressive. I love watching people do impressive things like the human spirit and human skills. But like a lot of times people quit because they miss their family. Yeah, and I'm just like, bro, I think they'll be happy. Like they're like, I every day I miss with them is like priceless or whatever. No, it's $500,000.
Yeah,
it's like
there's a but like there is like I had a guy here. I told you it's the most powerful podcast I've ever done in my life. I felt like God was in the room, and that's the only way I know how to describe it. It's on Patreon. It's The Kitchen Table, and I believe it's episode 10. Like I know it like I know it like the back of my hand. And that dude that was on here had lost his son recently, and he goes into it, and you talk about a room of people just shutting the fuck up, and one thing he said that helps him get by that has kind of haunted me with my children since is he said that like by the time your average child is 18 years old, they've already spent, I forget what the number was, but it was like 75-80% of the time that they're going to spend with you, and then the rest of their life is that other 20% as long, you know what I mean? So he was kind of like the silver lining, and you always got to look for one in extreme tragedy, right? But he was like the silver lining is that, I got the majority of the time I was going to get with him, and like, but, I think about that shit with like, my kids, like, Jane is 16. She'll be, that's 2 years. Yeah. So I think there is, depending on the age of the kids, and I hear you, $500,000 is $500,000. Don't get me wrong. But I can relate a bit.
Yeah, no, I understand missing your family. It's like, it's not like you've randomly fucked off, right? Like I'm assuming you had a family discussion. Like, look, this is season 10 by the way, right?
I'm going out for milk. You join the show.
You got your bow and arrows with you. I was like, I'm gonna go grab some dinner.
Like, where are you going to get milk, Beirut?
Whenever we watch Survivor, which isn't exactly the same thing, but there's always a point in the show where it's like letters from home, and people start crying and like, I get this letter from my whoever. And I always tell Sarah's like, I'm gonna tell you what, if either of us ever go on Survivor, this is what the letter, like basically for the letter, send memes. Pictures of memes.
I'd be like, don't come home without the money. That's why I write.
And if I win that challenge where I get to see my letter and eat pizza, I better be looking at memes and laughing, because like people act like you're going for 30 days.
Yeah, it's not that long.
Yeah.
Well, like, especially it's not that. Comparatively speaking, it's not that fucking hard to be gone for 30 days. With a fucking crew of people.
Yeah. Like if I'm out by myself. Yeah. I mean, the alone part I can see that.
That's the crazy part is like they have no human contact. Like unless somebody dies back home, you don't know.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the struggle there.
Well, yeah, some people are there with like their family. Like there's been people in the past there with people like family member with terminal illness trying to bring some money home. But then they're like, the money might not save them. I need to go back to see them to spend the time. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, if you're like, if we sat down with family, look, I'm going to go do this thing. This is season 10. People stay there for upwards of 3 fucking months.
Right.
Like everyone's probably cool with you not coming home for 3 months.
Yeah.
And bringing home $500,000.
There are other ways to make $500,000.
Yeah.
Buy a brick.
It's called the internet. And OnlyFans.
Buy a brick.
Only feats.
That too.
And some people
on OnlyFans. Double your money.
Some people go to like test their skills, like they live and breathe this kind of stuff. They love survival, and they're like, and some of them do well. Some of there's people who taps out day one. I think there was this a military guy or police, someone who thinks they're hard was there day one. That night they couldn't build a shelter. They heard some wolves. Day two, like they called us out of it. There's wolves out here. He fucking left. I'm like, bro,
if I heard some wolves,
a bad look.
I'd probably be like, you know what? I don't really need that money. I didn't have it yesterday.
There's actually wild wolves and black bears they have to deal with by themselves. All they got is a fucking can of bear spray. But then there's one guy who's tried to hunt a bear. He's like, I'm gonna kill a bear. Never could find him. Like, of course, the guy who wants to see the bear doesn't get to see the bear.
Of course.
But I quite enjoy it. As long as they keep making that show, I'll keep watching it. Just to like you know, a lot of people talk, especially us like horror movies. We'll talk about a lot of people like talk about zombie apocalypse and how they would survive and stuff. I'm like, nah, man. Seeing how someone actually, what you actually have to do to survive and not doing it. 'Cause these people are professionals, and they can only last like at most 2.5 months before like they just lost too much weight and they just couldn't get enough food from the wild to survive.
I think COVID kind of showed that we wouldn't survive a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, that too. Well, no, COVID showed that we wouldn't be able to stop one. Like people now, like there were a time when people were like, no, we got too much sense to let a zombie apocalypse happen. Like even if there were zombies and it starts to spread, people would be smart enough to like stop that shit. I'm like, COVID showed that we're not.
There are a lot of reasons why zombie apocalypse wouldn't work unless it's the right time of year. I mean, in the summer, like they wouldn't be able to sustain. They'd be too hot. In the winter, they'd freeze.
Yeah,
like they don't have proper blood flow. You know, and zombies.
Well, it depends on what kind. Like 28 days later, those guys are just like really mad.
Yeah, well, I don't think those are technically zombies.
No,
they were, I guess. But
that's the kind of like zombies that would happen, right? If we were to have zombies in real life, it would be some kind of fucked up disease.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be able to stop. I don't think they'd be able to stop. Like he's saying, like the physiological aspect of it. Like they would still freeze.
Yes, and they wouldn't be self-preserving enough to like not freeze.
Right.
So it's just like, how many people can they infect before?
Shit, man, I'm not a zombie, and I'm having a hard time in this weather we got right now.
It's hot as fuck.
I went outside
my God, it's miserable.
the other day. I was like,
Yeah,
we going back to the library.
I don't even like getting my mail.
No, that box was full. I drove the car up, AC on and everything. Pull that shit out, throw it in the seat.
That's what I got kids for. And watched Barbecue Pitmaster season 3. Which is not a good idea when you're cutting, because I'm on a cut right now. I'm just like, bro, I can't eat any of that.
That's how I feel watching Sopranos. I can't do it. I can't
because they're always eating.
They're always eating, and it's
always good Italian food. Always family. Always
family. Yeah.
I got down to 200, started watching Sopranos while I run on the treadmill. That's a fail. Went right upstairs. Like, all right, time to eat.
Yeah.
There's just something about seeing good food being prepped, like the anticipation of it being done.
Have I told you my joke about the gay couple?
Which one?
Playing the intimate game. Okay, so like Patreon folks, forgive me because this joke's coming your way again. Actually, no, you've heard it already. So just skip ahead. So these two gay guys are married, and they're having a hard time kind of keeping intimacy. Life's getting busy, it's getting hectic. They've got both successful careers. They don't have the time they used to have when they started dating, et cetera, et cetera. So like they're trying to spark it up. They've had conversations like we got to do something, right? Because we don't want to stray too far from one another and blah, blah, blah. They're in love, right? So the one guy says, look, I got an idea. Tonight we're both home. I got a game. You lay down. I'm going to strip you naked. You lay down on your stomach, and I'm going to take an item and rub it up and down your back, and you have to guess what it is. I'm going to blindfold you too, so you have to guess what it is. If you get it right, then we switch. So he says,
fun.
Sounds great. So strips him down, blindfolds him, lays him on the bed, takes a feather, and is going up and down his back lightly with a feather. And the guy's like, is it a feather? He's like, it is. Fuck, okay, this is easier than I thought. All right, let me. So then he strips. He lays down. The other guy gets up. And he looks in the bag, and there's like a bag of stuff, a feather, and all like a dildo, all sorts of stuff in it, right? But he's like, well, this guy packed a bag, so I don't want to use what he knows was in there. So he goes outside, he gets a garden hose, takes the nozzle off, comes up, and he's running it up and down his back, and the guy's like, is it? This wasn't in the bag. Is this a garden hose? And he's like, it is. Fuck, dude. He's like, okay. So they switch again. So now the original guy knows that he's going through the bag. So now he feels stuck. So he goes into the bathroom and he gets one of those
plungers.
You played?
Nice. Much better than that joke. That's it. That's how. Why? Because I'm still playing my gacha game, my mobile game, which I'm still enjoying the fuck out of it. But it's getting to the point where I've finished everything other than the daily, so there's not much for me to do anymore. I log in for about maybe half an hour a day. and then move on. So I started playing Minecraft with my Discord friends and Krista because they started a separate world so that I can also join.
Nice.
Kid keeps asking about Minecraft. And I'm
No, it's great. I mean, it depends. Well, you don't have to play with fucking randos. I think playing with randos is always a concern with any games that goes online.
That's what Sarah's
But the game
issue
itself
was.
is great.
And I was like, yeah.
Your kids play Minecraft sometimes.
Sometimes I think they're more the roadblocks.
Yeah, Sarah like basically told Sophie for whatever reason that's off limits. We haven't had a talk.
Well, there's
about
this
why.
chat thing. There's a
So that's probably it.
We have the chat off limits.
Okay, so I'm certain that's it then, because she was like, no, like Sophie keeps saying, well, Mom said I can't play Roblox, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I'll figure out what's going on.
so we turned off the chat feature.
Oh, easy enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me get into my nerd week. So I'll try to get the media stuff out of the way first. I watched The Boys. I'm up to date with that. It's fine. This isn't my favorite season,
Still.
but it's not bad.
Okay.
It's worth watching. I watched The Acolyte. So here's
still bad.
So this is the episode where they reveal the what happened. Right, there was like a mystery at the beginning,
okay.
And they reveal what happened, and they chose, in my opinion, the most boring, fucking, stupid, dumb, fucking
It seems like they've been doing that a lot with
possible. Like there's so many different interesting ideas they could have gone with for what happened. Like basically, this witch coven gets destroyed, and the show kind of pushes you to a couple of ideas. One of which being that the Jedi killed them all. One of which being that possibly one of the twin girls that you're following killed them all. And then I thought that what would have been most interesting was if this other mother had killed them.
Oh, yes.
And none of those was
Is that rando?
No, it's not even
Okay.
that. It's like they're like all working together, like swaying back and forth, like We Are the World, trying to do this spell, and then they basically the spell gets broken and they just pass out, and then the whole things are on fire and destroying, and it's just like
Okay.
it's like like it's
Yeah,
like
that's a party pooper.
yeah
I didn't watch.
yeah, a bunch of horrible acting, horrible dialogue. It's not good. Not a good show. Let's see what else. Then there is House of Dragons.
Still great.
Dude. So I watched 2 episodes because I was behind last week. So I'm going to spoil a bit. If you ever choose to watch it with me, yeah, maybe you won't remember by this time. But the big issue, right, is that the king, and their names are like Lord of the Rings-ish names, so I have a hard time. But I'm going to try to, if I'm not right, I'm close enough. Okay. King Viserys, or Viserys, something like that.
It sounds convincing.
So he's dying. He has a daughter that he wants to be heir to the throne. Her name is Rhaenyra. And he also has a brother. His brother, you can make an argument, is the rightful heir to the throne because he's a male. Rhaenyra is a daughter, and it's like kind of you don't do that. Make a daughter king.
Yeah.
Right. And then he has a second wife.
It's a high family.
That that has a son, has 2 sons. And you can make an argument that the older son is the rightful heir.
Normally, that would be the case.
As well, right?
Yeah.
So, once again, back to names. Aegon, maybe? So, his whole life, he's been saying it's Rhaenyra. She's the one. She's the rightful, she's the best choice. And he's right. Like, she's the one with her shit together. Rhaenyra. On his deathbed, he says something like, it should be Aegon, Prince of such and such, right? And it's like some vague thing, Prince of Conqueror, or Prince of Pursuit, or some shit like
Prince
that.
of Persia.
Prince of Persia. So that, everybody's like, oh, that was his dying wish, to make Aegon the king.
Right.
And that causes the split in a civil war between basically it splits the family and it splits the kingdom, right? Between Rhaenyra, who feels like she should be the rightful heir. He's been saying it his whole life. He wasn't right in the head anyway at the end.
Yeah, most people aren't.
You know, because he was like dying. He had like some he was like his flesh eating disease, like leprosy type thing. Like he was losing his mind. Like he was a mess. And then they're like, well, look, he said Aegon at the end, and he did, but they find out that when Rhaenyra finally hears the actual quote, that he was recalling a fable, and like this character Aegon, the Prince of Pursuit or whatever, is this old character that he always adored and loved from this like prophecy or whatever. And now the whole thing, and now the mother realizes it, but the whole thing is predicated on some bullshit, and it should have been Rhaenyra, right? But it's like, it's so fucking good, you know, like just conceptually because like it's one of those things where like you see how nobody initially was in the wrong. Everybody had a claim, right? And but because of this one little understanding, and now the other woman realizes that it was a misunderstanding, but it's too late. The wheels of war have begun. You know, there's no calling. Oh wait, turns out they were right, guys. They were right. You know, because now the armies and the people are loyal. It doesn't matter what you tell them. They've already decided that they're on the right side.
Mob mentality, yeah.
You know, and it's just such a fucking good, rich idea. And then the saying, there's all these like peripheral sons and brothers that feel like they have a rightful claim to it too. So there's like all this treachery afoot behind the scenes. So good. Which led to episode 2 of the 2 that I watched. This fucking episode, dude. I'll take a pause. So this second episode of House of Dragons, this is what that Star Wars episode where they killed all the Jedi, that, you know, I said the action was good,
yeah,
but it was meaningless. This is what they wanted that to be. Tons of action, huge consequences, and every bit of it fucking meaningful. You know, dude, like, I haven't watched an episode of television like this in so long. I've forgotten what it felt like. Like, I felt short of breath at times. Like, I was stressed out. This woman who I like, I'm on the Rhaenyra side. Like, I've always been on the Rhaenyra side.
I mean, that's having the bird's eye view, God's eye view. You know that's the right the right thing.
Now, but we just found out.
Oh, even before that, you were on that side.
You didn't know. Yeah, but before that, I've always been on her side.
And now you found out you're right.
And now I found out I'm right. Bobby's crazy to Bobby's right. No, but I think most people like her more. But like the other woman, the mother of the king now, is like a great character too, and like she's not a bad person, you know.
Circumstances.
Yeah, but dude, it's like, so this woman goes into battle with her dragon, and it's this red dragon, and she gets on the dragon and they like take off, and it's a trap. It's a trap. And the older brother that got passed over, he has one of the biggest dragons around. It's like one of the oldest dragons. It's a fucking, it's like it's like a 747. You know, and he's waiting in the wing, as it were. But then the king shows up on his dragon because everybody thinks that he's worthless. And he needs to prove to the world that he can fight just like anybody else. And he's, you know, so he shows up, and now it's thrown a huge monkey wrench into the trap, right? So the red dragon, and he has a yellow dragon, and then the big dragon is a black dragon. So the yellow dragon and the red dragon start fighting like in the air, and they're breathing fire on each other. They're clawing and scratching, and it's like a dance, and it's fucking amazing to watch. And then the black dragon comes out and lets loose fire on both of them. And then the question is, was he trying to kill the red dragon, or was he trying to kill the king?
Why not both?
Or both, you know? But now there's like a whole another element that's added to it. I got goosebumps and shit. You know, and then the king goes down. We don't know if he's dead or not yet. And then the red dragon, basically, like, she realizes, like, she's got to fight. She's got to fight this fucking dragon, but she knows she can't win. And she, like, it's just like the little things, dude. Like, she, like, reaches back and clips in to the saddle before. It's like, I'm going down with this fucking thing. Like, we're gonna die together, me and this dragon. And she, like, clips in to the saddle of this fucking dragon, and then, like, she, like, tells it, like, attack, and the dragon, like, looks back at her, like, you know, like, hey, it is what it is.
It's
you and me to the end. Like, and it's just so fucking good, and it means so much. And it's like, that's the sort of storytelling that people should be aiming for, and Star Wars can't fucking figure out where it is. They can't put their finger on that bullseye at all. They can't even, like, you know, when you,
I mean, they still have the writers, right?
you see, like, those axe throwing places, you, like, go and you have a beer and you throw an axe, and you, like, see the, like the hatchet marks on the side of the wall.
Yeah.
That's Star Wars.
All over. They're trying.
You know, and that fucking House of Dragons is just fucking nailing it.
Is it also based on the books, or is it its own thing?
It's based on the books. I sometimes I see on my Facebook, because I'm talking about it, so it shows up on my Facebook feed now, and I'll see them arguing about that sort of, and I don't want any part of it.
Well, I was just wondering,
but yeah, it is based on a book that's done.
The standard argument, and it seems like a lot of time is right, regardless of genre, even with, you know, anime and manga and stuff. It's like the source material. Following the source material is usually the best course of action.
Yeah.
Because, like, whatever property or franchises got popular because the source material was good. So why would you change it?
Yeah.
Or, like, why would you deviate far from it?
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I was just wondering, I'm sure there are things that are good that were not based on books. There are spin-offs, but I'm just curious to see if this was based on a book.
Yeah, it's definitely based on a book. And then Rhaenyra's uncle, the one that also feels like he has a rightful claim, he's, like, off trying to garner armies to her cause, lowercase h. You know what I mean? Maybe possibly more so to his cause.
Yeah.
But he's, like, stumbled upon this castle that's all but destroyed, and there's just few people living there now, and there's a witch there, and he's having these, like, hallucinations. But the question is he losing his mind, or is she doing it? You know,
witch.
Like, it's just every corner that you turn in this fucking thing is into another room that you just are fucking like, can I have a sit in here and just look at how interesting this fucking room is for a minute?
But he's not going to finish writing them books.
Fantastic. I don't know. This one's done.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I mean, it seems like that's an argument too. When the thing ended and a lot of people didn't like it, it's like, well, there's no source material. That's probably why it sucked or whatever.
Yeah.
How many years is this before the regular show?
300, I think.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like one generation away.
Yeah, no. It's we just looked it up because we were trying to figure it out. And it may have spoiled some stuff for us, like looking at the family tree. It was an error.
Don't do that.
But I'm still in on how it gets there. All the other stuff is more sort of circumstantial stuff. So my kids are on vacation this week, so we had the house to ourselves, and we went away for to celebrate our anniversary together, and we spent the weekend out. You know, and did some shopping, ate some pizza, did some fucking, like, pretty much our favorite things on the planet.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. And some drinking. That's probably our top 4: shopping, eating, fucking, and drinking, and not necessarily in that order.
I think that should be at the top of most people's lists.
Yeah, it was great. Great time. And then came back, and it's sort of we still been doing shit, but it's, you know, it's calmer now. But we went out to eat last night at Dutch's, and just
I haven't been in a while.
The two of us, and it was good. It was good. So, but I've been thinking about some things. One thing is, I'm not romantic. I'm not a romantic person. I've never thought of myself as being romantic, but I never thought of myself as not being romantic.
Opposite.
Yeah. But we're having conversations, and I got to thinking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not a romantic person. I'm a thoughtful person. Like, I do shit with thought, and I line shit up with thought to make other people happy and shit, but I'm not a romantic person, and I got to live with that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, it's a big concept to you, or is it a big deal to you?
It's not a big deal. I'm trying to figure it out, because I'm basically recognizing a deficiency in myself,
Is it a necessary deficiency?
a possible
Well,
deficiency,
it depends on your partner, right?
a possible deficiency in myself that I was just unaware of.
For a long time. Yeah, no,
You know?
I've want to be. I think I've always wanted to be. At heart, I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
but I've known for a long time now. I'm like too fucking rational. Like you, I'm thoughtful. I think about stuff, but like it's not the same.
Mm. Yeah.
Being thoughtful and being romantic is not the same. And I think being romantic is like it's more innate. I don't think you can.
I don't
try if you don't have that in
Mm-hmm.
you.
I feel like as you mentioned, like I think I'm romantic, but then I'm like, but what is romantic though?
Yeah, like
because like
so, like I'm never going to have the room away when Laura gets home from work with like candles and soft music and home cooked meal and flowers and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just not.
it's
natural.
not like, first of all, I don't want to listen to that. And I want the lights on so I can see what I'm eating.
And it's fire hazard to have open candles in the
Fire
house.
hazard.
Yeah, I'm too rational for that shit.
You know, yeah, but it's just something I'm like, interesting. We were at the mall.
The Rockmore?
Tyson's.
Oh, okay.
And there's a big poster down the wall, and it's all these different artists making art with the theme of tolerance.
Okay.
Right. And it seems to be leaning and I looked at the art, and it, to my eye, and not speaking with the artist or reading the little blurbs, it seemed to be mostly about LGBTQ tolerance.
Okay.
And so I got to thinking about it, and I was like, I'm not sure if I consider America as a whole culturally. There's outliers.
Yes.
Intolerant.
Yeah,
Of it.
as a whole, no.
You know, and
Especially comparatively speaking.
so I got to thinking about like, what is the goal? You know, like, and it was a conversation piece for Laura and I, really, right? And I think one of the things that I landed at is I think that sometimes people say tolerant, but what they actually mean is celebrate. And I think that's a harder, once, like last week, bigger ask. It's a bigger ask. You know?
I'm thinking the goal is to be like increase the percentage of tolerance. Because like we're definitely not all America as a whole is on the tolerant side.
Agreed.
But there's
not everybody is
there's
good.
definitely a good percentage of not tolerant.
But there's also, that's probably of everything.
Right.
You know?
So I'm assuming the goal is to just make it normal.
Most people are tolerant of people not using their blinker, but there are some people that it absolutely enrages.
Yeah.
yeah, it does. I follow people sometimes
Like
to
even
their
like,
homes.
and you fucking wrestle them.
No, I just sit
Allegedly.
there and like lock them in
Allegedly.
and just wait for them to get out, and they don't.
Allegedly.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a thought.
Yeah.
It's just like less of a problem now, but still a problem. It's like sexism, racism, right? It's just
Yeah.
to increase the percentage. Like you could say, like in the 80s, like we're mainly not racist, but definitely there's a more racism probably back then than there is now.
I don't. So
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm
Right?
not sure because I actually think that some of the things that people are doing nowadays is actually pushing a lot of people into their respective corners, which I think is a huge mistake. It's like making people want to choose a side, which I think is a horrible mistake.
It's a good story though.
Well,
Sometimes
I think the internet. I think the internet is a big part of that, though, because
Yeah,
you're able
100%.
to find your echo chambers,
100%.
and stay in your own lane. And I also think too is like, yes, as a whole, like the United States, we're tolerant, but there's also got to be kind of the idea of like, okay, so let's say the LGBTQ community, they're like, hey, we want you to respect us. Now, there's this pocket over here. They're just never going to do it, but they're constantly yelling at them to do it.
Right.
That's not helping anyone.
Anybody. Agree.
That's not your audience. Fucking move on.
Yeah.
That's for all
and
groups, though.
You just wait for them to die. I mean,
Yeah.
you just have to accept that in whatever generation you're, whatever lifetime you're in, you just have to accept that some things aren't going to be fixed in your lifetime.
Yeah, a lot of like there was like and I
But
like,
I mean, I understand why they try though. I mean, you
Well,
want
no.
Well, so
like,
I think-
as tolerant people, I assume everyone at this table is tolerant, right?
Yeah,
you would
I would-
want
I would-
the world to be tolerant.
100%.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, well, like, why don't we aim our efforts at like Iran?
Yeah.
Like, there's a place that could probably use a little bit more tolerance.
Well, we always argue how about we should take care of things back home before we deal with other people's shit.
Yeah, but I think I think as far as tolerance goes, I think the fight has been won.
Mostly. Oh, I mean, yeah.
Because you're never gonna get 100% of anything.
No, you won't.
And I think that overall, and I even was thinking about like back in the 80s and like talking to like some of the old timers, like that my dad's circle of friends, which were like manly men, and you know what I mean, like get your hands dirty, and there was that crowd, and they would say things like, what people do in the privacy of their own room is their business. There was still that.
That's the minimum, right? You want everyone to have at least that.
Yeah,
there's the problem when they don't have that.
Right. But I mean, like in the same breath, like I'm like, there's such hypocrisy around it, like. Is anybody saying that Dr. Umar should be more tolerant? Who's saying that white women don't deserve to be with black men? And
yes,
but nobody's saying that to him. I feel like, do you know what I mean? Like no, like when black Israelites have yelled at me, calling me a white devil, to my face with their finger pointed at me, and I felt empowered by it a bit. I had to be honest. I'm just being honest. But like, who's telling those folks to be tolerant?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because I agree. Because I'm on the side of
But once again, I think that they are a fringe group, like not a French group, but a fringe group, where I don't think they represent the majority of the human of the American population. I can't speak to any other country.
I think the concern is how major is this minor population? Like, if there's like 8 people in this group, you kind of let it go, right? But if it's like 30%, that's still a minority, but that's a good minority.
Yeah, but so
you know what I mean?
But the question is also,
I don't know
tolerant of what, right? Because like I may not. I'm just being honest. I may not want to sit and have dinner while 2 gay guys are passionately making out next to me, but I don't want to sit and have dinner while a heterosexual couple is next to me passionately making out. I shouldn't have to be tolerant of that.
Yes, that's same energy, right? That's equality right there.
Argument though, it's like well, it's not because they're gay. It's like I just don't want to see it. Period. Like if the heterosexual couple's doing it,
I don't want to see that too.
But it's an appropriate thing. Like I'm okay with like have a toast and a smooch. Yeah, by all means. Enjoy your dinner, guys. Enjoy your dinner, heterosexual couple, with a drink and a smooch.
Yeah.
But I mean, if your fucking tongues are down each other's throat, like I'm trying to fucking eat here. And it's not even so much the visual, it's the noise.
You don't like
I don't like mouth noises.
Yeah. Well, it's like, like going out with my friend Winter or Liddell and his partner. It's like at no point, like, yes, they're gay just by like aesthetics, but there's nothing ever said or done that makes you feel like, I'm uncomfortable that you're gay. It's like, okay, they're gay as fuck, but they're doing like
just other people.
Regular shit.
And here's another thing. You might, like, if you were like, hey, we're having a sex party and we want you guys to be invited, Laura and I might say, look, is it okay if we are observers more than participants? And they said, sure. I'll go to that party, and if gay guys are fucking, and lesbians are fucking, and heterosexual people are fucking, if everybody's fucking, I'm cool.
Yeah. Same energy.
I'm cool with it. But it's right place, right time. I'm tolerant of it there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think, what happens again when we have social media, we have, the internet and all this stuff. It's like, those small pockets are loudest because they can, use computers to kind of rally the troops. And not even sometimes, I think what they're saying, like the top 20, like 19 of the top 20 Christian groups on Facebook are Russian based.
Yeah. Well, so, dude, I remember arguing with Adam about that shit because I had read that journal. It wasn't like even a published journal. It was like an in-house university journal that somebody had done. I think it's available now, but it had leaked. But it was called Weaponized. Don't quote me, it was years ago. It was called Weaponizing a Fandom. And it was done by a guy who wasn't a Star Wars fan, but it was about the kind of huge backlash to The Last Jedi and Force Awakens. And they traced like the original negative comments. It was like 20 of them, and they were all bot accounts from Russia.
Perfect.
And then it got into this whole thing of like there's something going on because there's like the Kremlin, and then there's like their CIA, and then their CIA has a CIA, and the symbol's fucked up. If you look it up, it's like a bat with wings over the planet. It's fucked.
Perfect.
But like it got leaked that something out of there was like some evidence to suggest that one of their like plans was to disrupt anything that was part of the fabric of American culture.
Yeah.
Like and Star Wars being one of them. Like and I think it was comic book movies were another. There was a whole bunch of shit. Like there's a ton of stuff that's like rippled out from it.
So
they haven't attacked Starbucks yet.
It's coming. The cups.
The cups.
The red cups.
Happy holidays,
Yep.
season's greetings.
So
yeah.
I go to I don't read my own comments because that shit's toxic.
Yeah,
I actually read
comments
one,
in general.
I read one the other day and I went off on the dude.
Yeah, see that's the problem.
Whatever it was, he was basically saying the shit that I posted was like that would never work or whatever the fuck. I was like, okay, well here's the thing.
That's such a troll.
Make your own shit. And I'll repost it.
Sometimes,
you'll be honored.
Sometimes I get sometimes I have to do a Sway Lee. Need a reality check. Time to check your reality. I'll get a comment on Patreon and I'll get fucking pissed. And then I'll be like, and then I gotta tell myself, that motherfucker is paying to support you.
Yeah,
he does not hate you. He does not dislike you. He has he has rubbed you the wrong way because me, just I'm saying I have a hard time with the written word. I have a hard time with context and distinguishing mood and I always am assuming the worst.
Yes.
You know?
But I mean also if someone's giving you money, so like they're paying money to be allowed to talk shit to you. I'm like, yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's very,
you know, but
I
hate this guy so much. I'm gonna pay money to talk shit to him.
But it's more so like I'm misreading it.
Yeah,
like I'm reading it as an attack, but it's not an attack. Yeah. You know, because obviously this person doesn't want to attack me unless they're paying to get closer.
Like there was some debate going on, or there was a post on Instagram. And I like to go to other people's comments because I got to check the temperature. To see what's going on here. And along the line, I'm seeing different account names, but the same comment. Yeah. And the same comment is to rile people up. Like I can't even remember what the original post was, but somebody goes, "Well, that's what happens in Biden's liberal America." It had nothing to do with anything. But then you go under that, and there's tons of arguments now.
That's right, dumb.
Scroll down, and you see the same comment, a different person.
I'll tell you, man, I wish that dude would have stepped down.
Yeah.
Because now it's a problem. Now it's a problem.
Yeah. Well, and that was something Sarah and I was talking about.
Going back to like the tolerance thing, I think like it's about. I think people are worried about legislation is a problem. Like to increase tolerance so that like people who have power to change legislations would keep the same energy as we have of being tolerant.
Yeah, and that's fair. But I don't think, because I think that I shouldn't speak on this because I don't know about, but I think it was a federal thing. I think that one was a federal thing, which is a lot harder. You know, not that we can't give shit back to the states, obviously, because we can. But I think even the overwhelming majority of states were like on board, and I do, because I think most people are just like, yeah, of course, of course, like who gives a fuck, you know? Like I think it's the other stuff. It's the other stuff that people are like, well, hold on a goddamn minute. You know, like this motherfucker's got a thong and some fucking pantyhose on, walking down the middle of fucking Main Street on a Sunday. Yeah. You know,
it doesn't matter if it's a lady or dude. Correct. At that point,
to me, it does.
People use that people use that as an argument on just like bad actors will ruin a good cause.
Yeah.
And it's just oh, you just hate this movie because it's fucking got a female lead. I said, no, it just happens to have a female lead. It's a bad fucking movie.
Dude, I've watched I watched Brokeback Mountain when it came out. Yep. You know, because I watched all the things that are nominated for awards, and I was like, man, I don't think this movie's that good. And
people say you just don't like gay dudes, bro.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, man, I think the reason why it's getting the love is because it's breaking boundaries in that way, and that is actually respectable. That it's pushing. I'm all about pushing the limit, but take that away. You put a heterosexual couple in that campsite, I'm bored. You know. Okay, so next thing. This is also one of Laura and I's chats. Envy, right? we were asking each other, like, because like we were talking about, like, man, how does some people, like, you know, I look at like this neighborhood, for instance, and I'm like, man, these people are going away for a week. Like, we can't, like, Lauren, I mean, you know how I feel about can and can't afford things.
Yeah.
You either make the effort or you don't.
Yeah.
But
priorities.
Right. But that aside, we'd have to make a significant effort to go away as a family for a week. It would be like, we went to Disney. I mean, that was a year of saving. Mm-hmm. You know, but like one of our neighbors, it doesn't matter who, because I like them, but they're going to Disney every year, and that's just one of their vacations. So we were having.
I don't know people around here. Like, so, is it because of the groups? You know, you're in the groups.
Well, no, but I am in the groups. But it's really because like my kids know their kids.
Oh, okay.
And shit like
we're going to Disneyland.
Yeah. But like, I say that to say this is, so we were having that conversation, you know, and we were having like, money and kids and lifestyle and blah blah blah. And so I got to asking each other, like, is there anyone that we know that we are envious of the whole picture? Where we would trade what we have for what they have, and couldn't. And that was like, and
you have to be. I feel like you have to be doing really not good in your life to like want to completely trade lives with somebody.
Well, I think also with that, not just not doing well, but also there's something not right up here with that, because it's like
you gotta appreciate what you got.
Yeah, it's like you can look at your situation and, like you said earlier, you find a silver lining. Yeah. There's always some positive where you are, unless you're locked in a fucking cage getting butt fucked every night.
Well, so like I look at like
good. My bad.
You know, so like I look at this same couple, and I was like, this is going to lead me to my next topic. Mm-hmm. I don't think they fuck the way that we fuck. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think they have that in their lifestyle, which is fine.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't.
That's probably why they need all the vacations.
But I wouldn't trade the fucking for the vacations. Mm-hmm. You know, or. You know, I don't think this couple ever lets loose. You know, and I like, or like
this, have a relationship with the kids the way you have,
or that, or I'll be like, or this one here, like, the lack of humility. You know, because we have to talk about like image, like because Laura and I are actually, we're very image conscious. And that's not to mean that we do anything fraudulent. We don't. We just always want to make, I think that when we go out into the world, we present like, this is who we are and this is what we're about. And we're going to do our best not to let anybody else see us lacking. So like, let me give you an example.
My question on that is,
let me give you an example.
Doesn't everybody?
No. No. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Yeah. So one of our neighbors, I'm disoriented. 2 doors down that way, will be perfectly happy going outside, mowing the grass with his shirt off, and looks like he had 10 beers, a steak, and some garlic bread last night. Right?
Right.
Doesn't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. I would never. Because I never want to present an image that I don't give a fuck. I care about how I look.
But this means unless you're fraudulently trying to pass yourself off as something you're not. Right. I think isn't by default everyone's present themselves as who they are, because he presents himself not giving a fuck because he doesn't, right? However you go about your life is who you are, unless you're fraudulent.
No, I'm not saying that that's fraudulent, but I'm saying that he doesn't care about the image. I'm saying that I care about the image.
I mean, yes, but he's presenting himself as who he is,
right?
Yeah,
and I would never, you know,
that's not you.
It's not me, but it's also not acceptable from it's both. You know, so anyway, all that was tied in. It's like, do you wish you had that lack of humility? Do you wish that you didn't give a fuck? It's like, well, no, because it's like, because I wouldn't trade him for this and that. It was just a good conversation and a real reckoning of noticing your like weaknesses and your pros, and then gauging it against the world and then seeing how you feel. Like, you know, I really like this about this. I really like this. I'm really envious of this, but it's not enough to make me do anything different. You know, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it was just an interesting conversation, which leads me to this next topic. I haven't figured this out yet, so forgive me. But this is along the lines of lights and wires in the machine. But I'm not finished here yet. I'm not finished figuring this one out. But there is some sort of energy in people that make them, at least, like I said, I'm not done, a participant, an observer, or a part of it, or like in it. So if you were to take like skateboarding, there are the people that skateboard.
Yep.
There are the people that watch a skateboarder, and there are the people that are the skateboard or are the street. You know, and I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm trying to figure out what it is. But I have it. When I fuck, I'm in it. I'm in every way possible. Like, I'm a part of it. When I party, I'm a part of it. When I listen to music, I'm a part of it. I'm not a participant, and I'm not an observer. And it's not like it's not like anything is bad.
No, it's just different.
Yeah, it's just like elemental. There's something elemental about it.
How you go about.
So it's something I'm brainstorming about. But there's some energy that is directly connected to things like that. And they might be pleasure things. Music, fucking, food, drinking, indulgence. You know, and I think
it can be for work also.
Yeah, but I think there's a scary element to it too, right? Like, I think my brother has it also, and my brother lost control.
He got lost in the sauce,
you know, because he's of that element, and that element is like, it's like a balloon at your back, like a giant balloon at your back, and you're stretched over it. Right. And you enjoy being stretched over it. You enjoy the arching of your back, so to speak, over this fucking balloon, but you just can't let that motherfucker pop. You know? So anyway, I'm still working through it, but it's something I've been thinking about. And then lastly, another thing that's interesting. So my kids are away. They're at the beach with Laura's family, and like her mom or dad, brother's wife, their kids, cousins, blah, 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 right? Uncles are there. Laura's uncles. And they miss us.
Oh, the kids?
Oh, yeah. You know, and this is the first time. Usually,
is it?
Yeah, like this. Usually we don't hear a peep out of them.
Oh, the first time. Okay, because they've gone away before.
Oh, yeah. Because they go down with them. Because we used to all go as a family, you know, until I told them no more.
Yes.
And then I said I would go. I just can't stay in that house. I need my own place.
Yes.
But apparently that was
safe space, bro.
Not good enough. So here we are at home.
Yep.
But you do have your own place. Like,
yes.
By extension, you are there.
But anyway, like, Jane is like texting me all the time, calling me. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, shit. Like, they want to come home.
I mean, they realize the vibes they have at home, and it's not the vibes they're getting over there. Probably.
Yeah. And I mean, I think they're enjoying like the pool and the like all that.
But the people.
Yeah, but I think they're like, fuck, like, this sucks. You know, not that it sucks.
It's not.
But that it's not home.
Yeah.
Which is, it's like, I'm taking, I'm taking a little bit of pride in it. And that is it for my notes. Fairly big nerd week for all of us. So luckily, just a couple notes. One, there was a Watchmen trailer for the animated film. Looks good. But I have to ask myself, do I need this?
Probably.
I thought that while I was watching. I was like, this is, I'll watch it, but do I have to watch it?
You had the books, and then you had the TV series that didn't go that well, right? There was a one
I think it was hit or miss. I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the movie. I know people are hot and cold on it, but I love the movie. I love the extended cut with the animation in it, like the Black Pirate
Yes.
or whatever, like the whatever that is. Like I love it all. And then I have the book. If it's upstairs. If I want to read the book, I have the book that I can read. It's more animated, for lack of a better term. I don't know if I need a cartoon of it. Also,
I wonder though, because we were talking about this with remakes the other day and stuff like that. It's like 13 Ghosts, for instance, when that came out. The original was so far back. It's like, I like the original.
yeah.
I didn't even realize it was an original.
I didn't realize until a couple years after.
You got the Scooby Doo guy.
That was around the same, like House on Haunted Hill. There's a lot of remakes around that time.
They're like
Some of those I knew was
same
a
production
remake,
company back then, and even on the remakes as well. But you think with some of the things when they redo something, it's like, okay, we know that this upcoming generation is not going to want to go back to this stuff for whatever reason, whether it be they
too
don't
old.
like the way it looks or whatever. So we'll give them something that's tangible for them here. And it took me a while to come to grips with that with some horror remakes, because it's like, well, do we really fucking need another one? It's like, well, maybe we don't need another one,
The
but
current generation.
The different generation.
they need another one.
That's
because
fair.
A lot of them aren't going to go back to watch those shit. Because, like, I mean,
I
again, House on Haunted Hill, the original one, kids aren't going back to watch the black and white one.
That's fair though, but I think that is more understandable than not going back and watching Snyder's Watch.
No, because that's recently.
It's modern. It
recent
still
enough.
feels
It's
modern.
20
It was
years ago.
Yeah,
But it holds up.
but like still.
No. I mean, again, we agree, but I mean,
Yeah.
you look at some of the folks now, because everything's a complaint now, and like all the stuff before is a complaint. So it's like, well, give them something that's tangible now, because I don't know how the animator is gonna handle certain situations. Are they going to be true to the source, or
Yeah, I
are
was
they
wondering if it's gonna be the same
going to
retelling
water it
or-
down a little bit? I imagine they're going to stay true to it, but there might be some parts that might be watered down. Because I mean, honestly, if you're watching The Watchmen, you know,
Well, who
Who
watches The Watchmen?
Got him.
Got him, dude.
but chances are you're not soft.
Yeah,
If you're watching it, like you jumped in
Right,
for
right,
a
right.
reason,
Yeah.
but you still have to make that curve a little bit, because there are going to be folks that are like,
I mean,
I'm in.
it's the original. There's no boys without the Watchmen.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the original. If superheroes were real, they would be monsters.
Well, we were talking about Brightburn, because I just watched that the other day,
Yeah.
and
There'd be no Brightburn without
There's
Watchmen.
like, they're talking about sequels for it. They've been talking about a sequel for a while. I was like, well, we do have a sequel. It's called The Boys.
Yeah.
Like, just watch The Boys.
Dude,
and
Brightburn,
move on.
Invincible,
Yeah.
Jupiter Rising, all that shit. The Boys, and there's more.
Yeah.
There's more, but they're all limbs off that Watchmen tree.
Yeah.
There's
And
a Terminator animated coming out at some point too on Netflix
Oh, really?
in August.
That's actually somewhat alluring to me. I'm not sure why.
I mean, they're due for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gladiator 2.
Yeah, that's. I just saw that today. I was question mark. I'm
So-
like, why?
When I heard about it, I was just like,
I mean, I like the original movie. That's a
It's
cool
great.
world.
It's great.
But I just like, is there more to tell?
They
So-
said all they needed to say the first time.
Yeah, but I think it looks good though.
It does. I mean, it looks.
It's really
like
Scott, so it's going to look amazing.
It can
looks like
look
the first-
good, but it doesn't mean that it's needed.
Agreed. But like, why does Denzel Washington still sound like he's from Philadelphia?
Because
Yeah, that dude is a one-trick pony.
like
It's a
Philadelphia.
really good trick. It's a really good trick.
You never did into Philadelphia,
Well,
Rome.
well, I mean, it's a really good trick in the right context, though.
Yeah,
You put 'em-
exactly.
You put them in Rome, and it's like,
Yeah.
that trick doesn't work as well here.
Okay, and then questions. So I will roll through them. So the first one is from Kenny R. Or Kenneth R, I should say. I gotta admit, sometimes I'm guilty of it too. Like, I'm Bobby.
All right,
You
Bob.
don't get to decide to call me Bob. I'm Bobby. And his name on here is Kenneth. So I don't get to decide that he's Kenny. But
You know, it says some people
yeah.
understand that, while at the same time don't want to call people what they want to be called.
Yeah.
It's
I have a
going
hard
back
time
to the
with-
tolerance thing.
Yeah.
I have a hard
You
time
know.
with nicknames. Like, if I...
Oh, I love a nickname.
Well, no, if I met you as this name, you're this name.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, when I moved with my foster family, I learned my sister's name, Mary and Marie. But the family called them May and Rita. At no point did I ever call them that. And I heard everyone call them that. I just couldn't, because this is what I learned.
Right.
This is what I am.
Yeah, I call people by the screen names in person.
I do that.
So
That's
he says,
what I know.
Here, y'all. Bobby, you are one of the few I've ever known who likes Flight of Dragons.
What do you mean? It's good.
I know. He said, I will make my wife listen to the opening theme from time to time. Gore bash. I never read the book nor even the audio book. So the book is not a work of fiction. That's important to know.
Huh?
It's like, it's not a fictional book. It's not a story. It's like it's Peter Dickinson, the author, making an argument that dragons are real.
Okay.
And it's historical evidence as to why he believes that.
Interesting.
And then in there is some of his theories as to how it would work. That whole thing in the movie about them like eating the limestone and the honeycomb inside and all, that's all from the book with his theory on how fire would have worked. Anyway, he says, are there any other childhood shows or movie themes you or the revolving cast may know? Dinosaurs, the Care Bears theme. Dinosaurs is great. The theme to Last Unicorn performed by America. Maybe the Chipmunk movie. Joey, shout out Ranma one half.
Yeah.
Movies or OVAs?
Both. Why not both?
No, there you go.
But I mean OVAs. It's longer form.
But yeah, I don't know. I love, there's like, I love the never ending story.
Yep.
There's a lot of music and stuff from the 80s, but it's usually, it's not necessarily related to geek stuff. I mean, I like the Dinosaurs song, but I would never like rock out to that motherfucker. But like, so like one of my favorite songs is by Ann Wilson, Half a Heart, so to speak. She did the intro song to The Golden Child with that bam down you've been taken by the city. You're the best man in the world. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Dude, this is getting ready to be a music. Hold on. Best man. And you can't get it. It's not on streaming or anything. I have it, but... That electric bass,
man. That's like fucking.
You've been taken by the city.
It's so good.
It's like
Get home service gonna be like, why are we watching this?
80s in a bottle, bro.
Dude, Last Dragon.
Donkey.
When you
Just
got
watch
that
it.
glow, your powers grow. When you got that glow, it's the power of meditation or concentration.
But you hate a musical.
Yeah, but no, because I don't want my characters to be singing. Play it in the background.
Montages are okay.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, Gladiator 2 trailer. I hate that the Kanye Hove record of what is it? Wild. What is it? No Church in the Wild is the song that they use for it. Like, give me a score. I don't want Hove and Kanye in my fucking. And I love
Gladiator,
and I love that
especially.
song.
Yeah.
And the reason why they chose it is because Hove says in there it's like blood on the Coliseum floor. That's why they chose it.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's so on the nose. Yeah, 100%.
It's just someone's like, let's find some lyrics that has to do with partly one line from a whole fucking song that has to do with what we're doing.
100%. I love a lot of like music from movies that like the moment that the moment that you hear it, you know exactly like the movie just jumps. Like as soon as you hear that shit, you're like you could just see Axel swinging from the back of the fucking tractor trailer by the Newports or whatever, fucking falling out the back. It's like I love a lot of that stuff, man. I love there's a comedy movie with Jim Carrey where he's a vampire or something. It's called Once Bitten.
Yeah,
Yes.
Once Bitten.
So there's a song in that. It's like once bitten, you can be a vein. Once bitten, I'm living in a vein. You said it's that. Oh, and not gonna never. Hold on. Hold on. Here we go. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
In your eyes, boy, I could see mine.
But I'm gonna let it get to the hook. But like, this was the music that was used at like the opening credits. Like, once again, it's a lot of those opening credits with Golden Child, Beverly Hills Cop. Here we go. It's so good, dude.
I mean, it sets the tone, though. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's the opening,
Yeah.
so it lets you know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So
I agree. So yeah, I mean, tons.
I know all the songs from Jim and the Holograms.
Oh,
Like, that was my shit.
totally outrageous.
Right.
Okay, so Paul C writes in. He says, the nightmare scenario. You got to take a shit real bad. If by some miracle you make it to a public toilet, but there's no toilet paper, what's your move? Is your move different when you're around acquaintances, like at work, or do you or your surroundings not make a difference?
Is it paper towel in the dispenser?
So if there is, that's the go-to move.
yeah, that's a go-to move.
If not, I'm taking a sock off.
Can't relate.
Perfect. Well played.
But yeah, if all else fails, if I have no other option, there's no toilet paper, there's no paper towel, there's no nothing. Like, I might even look in my pockets to see if I have receipts. But my last resort is I'm taking a sock off. I've always got a sock. You know?
I don't.
Oh yeah.
Boxers. I always have my boxers.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
There's more surface area to the boxer anyway.
That's
You can
true.
fold it a couple times.
That's true. Okay. So next one is from Alan Mack. How fate would have it. He says, "Right, boys, let's get down to business. Joey, the show you watched, Bodkin,
Yes.
I wouldn't class as a comedy."
Yeah. Why do they? It is fucking listed as a comedy.
He said, "I would put it as a dark drama."
Yes.
Would I
Which
watch?
is opposite of comedy.
And then he said, "Would I watch it? God no. Looks like a big pile of shit. You want to watch an Irish comedy show? Watch Father Ted. Old but still funny. Stupid funny. Look up."
I mean, I wasn't specifically looking for an Irish comedy. I was just we were looking for like true crime mystery type stuff. I was just confused why it was listed as comedy.
Look up The Guard, In Bruges, or Intermission. Any of the Roddy Doyle movies that are based on his books are fun to watch. Old again, but worth a look. Then he says he wasn't a fan of Monty Python, but at its time, it was classed as a good comedy. Maybe it just hasn't aged well, as there are too many snowflakes out there, and you can't do anything more than you could have got away with back then. Comedy styles are different from place to place. That's my thought on that. Yeah, I don't know.
But the thing is, I can recognize something as trying to, even if I don't find something funny, I can recognize that something as trying to be funny.
Yeah, I think the Knight is trying to be funny.
Yeah,
like
the
but
French
it just
and
doesn't make me laugh.
Right, but like that was my thing with watching the show Bodkin. Is like I could not find where it's supposed to be funny, and I was like, maybe I'm completely missing something culturally.
But good.
You know, like Sarah and I were talking about that the other night when there was something coming up. And she's like, oh, you know, British humor and like, you probably won't like it. I was like, well, no, I appreciate it. I get it. Like, it's not that I don't like it because it's British humor. I probably just don't. Like Monty Python. I couldn't fucking care less.
Yeah.
I appreciate it though, and I get it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like, it's not for me.
Speaking of which, Ben Bankus is coming to Baltimore in August. I think I'm going to go. The human animal monkey hybrid guy. I think I'm going to go. It's like $25.
Okay, wow.
Chris, are you still thinking about putting back on the banana hammock and getting back in the ring? Keep up the good work. Chris will have to answer.
Maybe once he
I'll be
gets
Chris.
to-
Yes.
he's gonna be he's gonna be in fighting shape soon here, bro.
Waleed wrote in a long one, so to speak. Good day, nerdy birdies at the pecking table. I'm in between night shifts, so please excuse any muntedness in this email. You got that must be an Australian word.
Sounds made up.
Firstly, it was a blast to have met you all and to have had the opportunity to guest on NRR. I thank you, good sir. Questions, Joey.
Yo,
How did it go with your exam? If you haven't received your results, when do you expect to find out? Wishing you all the best.
I haven't taken it yet.
Hasn't taken it yet.
I have to by August. So
So I'm going to read the question for Chris, and if Chris wants to listen and get back next week, he's more than welcome to. Or you can send it in again, Waleed. Have you managed to wean off the semi-glutide now that you're maintaining a routine of working out and healthy living? Do you?
I think he's yeah. As far as I know, he's off. He's been off it since he started working. He's been off it. I think he said he took it once. Because it's a weekly shot. I think he said he took it once, and I think he's back off of it again.
Nice.
As far as I know.
He says, do you envisage you'll use it again? Envision, maybe use it again? One of my bosses recently ended up in the hospital with gastroparesis, stomach, guts not moving, contents forward properly. That's actually a thing that's been happening. Secondary to the Ozempic, he was not in a good way. He said, just curious when the rock boxes are scheduled to be shipped out. You can insert a plug here. He said, Bobby, if you haven't already covered this on the show, how Gomez doing with his recovery? When's he likely to get back to mopping? Is he going to need rehab, or does he have good function? So he's definitely going to need rehab. He seems to be doing well. I'm going to see him tomorrow night for a kitchen table episode. But like he can't drive. Like Casey's
can't even drive. Damn.
Casey's going to go get him and bring him back. He's in a rough way. He's got a long road to recovery ahead of him. I don't think he'll be back to work. I'm guessing minimum of 2 months, minimum. And he says, you'll be pleased to know that I made one of my junior people at the hospital get a tape measure to measure a woman's swollen leg, and he told me it looked bigger than the other. Yes, good.
Nice.
Good. Yeah, just add a little street smarts to your fucking medicine. To the group, my son is 7 and playing his first season of soccer. As the season has progressed, there have been more interference from parents whinging. We got to do something. We got to get a thesaurus. We got to get a thesaurus, Wally, to the coach
translator
about various things with a more recent fixation on the team winning a game. As a new club, there are some disorganization at the start of the season with grading or lack of grading. So the club is playing against other clubs which are in the top grade and losing every game.
Yeah.
I say that to say this. For the past few games, my son has been increasingly benched, disproportionately more than any other player. He gives 100% effort, attends every training, doesn't fuck around, and while he might not be as good as some of the other players, he doesn't actually suck. There are more talented players that do not spend any time on the bench. Yesterday, my son was benched for most of the practice match at training. He was sobbing to my wife at the end of this session and saying afterwards that he wants to quit. I haven't been at the recent training or game because I've been at work, but I'm fucking fuming over this, as is his mother, who is looking for blood. My opinion is that at 7 years of age, this is about having fun and learning to develop their skills, learn about teamwork, etc. I do not think that there should be a child singled out to sit on the bench longer than anyone else. I feel that this is bullying by exclusion and as a result of a toxic attitude from the other parents wanting to live vicariously through their kids with this fixation on winning. My wife and I plan to escalate this as it violates the association's charter on substitutions, quote-unquote benching, for under 12s, which has been stipulated to be equal among all players. And to be clear, I would not be feeling this way if he was older and playing competition sports, in which case my approach would be to help him strategize and train and become a better player. What are your thoughts? Have you had to fight the good fight for your kids when they've been unfairly singled out, and how have you handled it? Whew. So let me say this first and foremost. I agree with you.
At 7 years old,
7 years
how
old,
competitive do you want to be?
Leia is 7, 8. One of them.
My kid's 8, so I think your kid is about to be 8.
Okay, so as it gets closer to their birthdays, I have a harder time keeping track because I start saying the thing ahead of time.
Yeah.
But yes, I think you're right, Dante. So she was been playing as 7 for her first season, and they definitely rotate the kids fairly, and it's just about learning the game. Like they're soft on the rules and all sorts of shit just to make sure.
I think at 7, I feel like you see them just fucking running amok.
Yeah, I like when you throw the ball in. I'm learning a good bit about soccer from this shit. But when you throw the ball in out of bounds, like your feet have to stay planted on the ground, and like their feet come up all the time. Sometimes they step over the goddamn borderline. Yeah. I'm the one telling my kid like back behind get behind the rules are the rules. But they don't seem to care, the coaches and parents and so forth. So I agree with you undoubtedly with that. Now let's enter Selena, so to speak. Selena is at an age where she's getting ready to go into the next chapter.
Yeah, getting to be competitive.
And I would say this past year of playing softball, it's competitive.
Yeah.
These kids come to play. They do not fuck around.
They come in to win.
They come in to win, you know. And my thing with this, because I do get involved, you know, like I don't complain to the coaches or anything, but I will make my grievances clear. My thing is, especially when she's going into this next wave, which is 12. You know, 12 is the next step. You should play according to your skill set.
Yep.
You know, and if you can't hit the fucking ball, you go to the bottom of the fucking line.
Yep.
And if you can't field the ball, you sit on the goddamn bench until you figure it out. And if you feel you're being treated unfairly, get a coach, get a private lesson, train with your kid after school, you know, work with your kid. You know, I've worked a lot with Selena, and she's fucking good.
Yeah.
You know, but that takes me picking Selena up and going over to the ball field and playing for an hour and hitting balls to her and, you know, and then throwing and pitching to her. And, you know, and as a result, she's gotten fucking good. But in the same breath, like there was a time where she was lower down the batting list than I felt like she should have been.
Right.
And I got to talking to the coach about it, not complaining, just saying like, why is Selena so far down the list? It's like, well, it comes down to hitting percentages. I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not. And then she went and started keeping a list
Okay.
in statistics, and the fucking order changed.
Okay.
You know, so
they were it was a mistake on that part.
correct.
They
'Cause
didn't try.
they were going off memory,
And it was off.
and everybody sees their kid in the golden light.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so like the coach's kid was batting like second all the time, and she's a good player, but she probably doesn't deserve to be second. You know, but stuff like that. So like, I think that if you, I'll say this too. Then that list started having a negative impact on Selena because all she cared about was moving up the list.
That's the problem.
You know, and it's like then she's checking her stats every week instead of actually just getting out there and playing a game. I'm also one of those parents where I don't care if they win or they lose. Like, I would rather them win because everybody's in a better mood and we celebrate together and we fucking punch the roof and all that kind of stuff in the car on the way home. But all I care about is if Selena plays well, if she gives it everything that she's got, you know. And sometimes I've told you guys here, there was a time just this past season where she was fucking up. She was fucking up all game, and then they put her in the outfield, which she doesn't like to play, and the fucking ball got by her. But the problem with the outfield is once it's by you, that's it.
Yeah.
You were the last line of defense.
Yep.
So she got the ball, went and got it, had to go chase it, and then got it in. And I'm sitting, 20 feet from her on the sidelines, and I'm like, hey, you going to play today? Just let me know. So I don't want to miss it.
There's a point though at that age once you discover stats, it becomes an obsession, and that's a period that goes for a couple years, and then until you get to that point of like contribution. Like I got to play well. I'm doing my part, and then it goes from that point of I'm doing my part. Then it goes to I'm doing my part. You need to fucking do your part. Then that's where you become a team leader because like, look, I got everybody on this. Yeah, that's how it's always been with like football, basketball, anything like that. It's like, all right, I'm fucking up. All right, I got to do better. Once I start doing better, it's like, all right, are you doing better? Like and it's not to like be a dick, trying to put people down, but it's like accountability. That comes with those certain ages. I mean, when you're younger, that's like again with Leia's age, it's like you're just out there to fuck around. You're trying to figure it out.
Learn it. Yep.
Like Sophie has been asking to go to the basketball court lately. So
that's awesome.
We go around the corner. She's actually been making shots on the 10-foot hoop.
Love that.
And I'm like, okay. And now she's starting to take an interest. She's like, hey, can you teach me how to dribble? I'm not the one. But but that's the whole thing is like she's in that learning phase. Okay, I'm figuring this shit out.
Yeah.
And then Sarah like kind of mentioned was like, you think she might want to play, and I was like, I mean, we're a long way from that. Because I mean, when I think about kids now, where I see shit online, it's like kids at 7 and 8 are playing in fucking travel leagues. I'm like,
100%.
Yeah, I mean,
they scout.
Yeah. We were just talking about that the other day.
They come out to our games and scout players.
Yeah. I mean, you got like in middle school, like Pop Warner football scouts out there, and you got kids in 8th grade committing to colleges already. It's like, yo.
And that's a whole
Chill.
other thing that I'm struggling with now because Selena is good and she's probably ready for travel.
Mm-hmm.
But do I send her to travel to be benched
Yeah.
as a mediocre player at travel, or do I let her play as an elite player in rec where she's going to get to play all the time, bat all the time, like.
But that's building a skill though, playing there. Because like we have that.
No doubt. But my question is, I guess what is the goal? Is the goal for her to be the greatest softball player ever, or is the goal for her to enjoy it as much as possible
While it lasts.
while it lasts? You know,
It's like in
because there's
jiu-jitsu-
scholarships. There's
Yeah.
there's utility to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like in jiu-jitsu, it's like with your belt rings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are white belts that probably should be blue belts.
Mm-hmm.
But like there are coaches that hold them back. It's like, I want to make sure that you're ready. Because like you go up to blue belt and start getting smoked right out the gate.
Right.
Or like you can go to blue belt and now you're better prepared. Now you're
Right.
blue belt. All right. And it's called sandbagging. I mean, you know.
Right.
And folks kind of don't like it, and I get it. But it's kind of a mix of, you know, there's a middle ground, because it's like, yeah, you should like let them hone those skills at that lower level, because yeah, they're going to go up to that next level, and yeah, they might be at the bottom, but
that's
they've
what
now
they
got the
should
tools.
be, because you just got there. You are at the bottom of the.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
You
a
got the
balance.
tools, though,
It's-
to get where you need to be, though.
I think it's more psychologically getting the kid or the belt rank guy to know that, hey, you're ready to move to the next level, but if and when you do, know that you'll be at the bottom of that level
Right.
and be ready for that.
Right.
You know, like if she understands that and is ready for it, I think it's more about a mental thing.
Because I think she would like to go to travel for the clout,
but I'm not sure if she's
but I don't think. She's gonna be wrecked on that bench.
right. Like I mean,
Well,
like,
She hates having to sit the bench
That's,
now.
that's what you have to like explain to her. Like, look, like the reality of it is very likely that you're just going to be sitting on the bench. And
And another thing was just real quick about striking out. So like, I don't care if she gets up there and the pitcher out pitches her batting.
yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But what I can't tolerate is you letting them go by. You just want to sit there and watch them go by. So like sometimes she'll sit and watch them go by. It's rare, but then she'll go sit down on the bench and look all sad, and I'll walk over to her. But hey, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Do something useful. Dust your bat because it got all that dust on it while you were sitting there.
I mean, but I think that's important though, because like that builds that character. Because like, okay, so let's say she goes up to travel, she knows,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, she's going to be at the bottom.
Yeah,
she's
and-
got the tools to move up, but she also has the push now. She knows, like, well,
Dude,
I'm going to sit here and suck.
And it
I want to
gets
move.
like Waleed, it gets worse. Like I'm here to tell you, it gets worse. Like Selena's been doing this, I think, for 2 or 3 years now, and like I can tell you, the parents, everybody's intensity is worse now because the kids are getting better and the games are getting more competitive. And like, you know, you start looking at plays and calls from the umpire, motherfuckers start like, what the fuck? Like, you know, like and then I think when it goes into 12s, like I think it's even worse, you know? So I would say this, I think it's fair to bring it to the coach, but make sure you got the ammunition. Like,
I mean, it sounds like that's not the point of this league, and
right.
And
So
not the spirit of this league,
100%.
Yeah,
But my recommendation to him is let a few more practices or games. I don't know how much left of the season either.
yeah,
And log it.
yes, yeah. Have numbers.
Have documentation, and be like, look, I have an issue. Here's my issue. Here's the numbers to support it. Because otherwise, you know, like I said, that people have a tendency to see it through their lens.
Yeah,
They don't
But
see
I
it.
didn't bench him. I don't bench him that much.
No. I bench him just as much as I bench my kid. Like, well, no, actually, your kid has never been benched. You know, like, because that shit happens.
Yes.
Man. And that's it for today. Let me double check that we don't have any more emails, just so I don't. Yep, good to go. So, Dante, thanks for coming out.
Glad to be here.
Good to see you. And shout out to Chris on assignment. And of course, shout out to Phil on our notes and on Twitter. And shout out to you, Dante. Thank you. Did you see your fucking post that went viral?
I post and ghost.
So the one that you posted about the Incredible Hulk fighting the gorilla.
Yeah.
That's the one that went viral.
I'm pretty sure I was high when I posted that, because I don't remember that.
Dude, I mean, hundreds of thousands of views, thousands of comments, tens of thousands of like engagements. Like,
Good.
It's. I mean, that was that you struggled.
I don't remember. Like,
it was actually obnoxious.
Was it? Because like with Facebook, it gets weird with posting it as a regular post or as a reel.
Oh yeah.
Because on BJJ Wiki, I'm having some ownership static there, trying to get my post fucking running again. But it's like if you post something as a reel, I think it pulls more. So that's what I'm trying to remember as I do a post there.
Yeah,
so
good. And shout out to Ricky Tiki Timber, I think, still. Which might look, it might like he's got some stuff going on, and that's doing a video every week sucks.
Yeah,
I can tell you somebody who does 3 or 4 videos every week sucks. So it might be time to relook at that. But other than that,
Flappy Labius.
No, expose holes.
tight dick player.